Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Love Talk Radio.
The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. Manasseh, the Cubans.
Let's go to Acts 15 with Paul, with out amongst the Gentiles that was worshiping and celebrating all that.
Our highest gathering Israel.
The Arabs and Africans told us
At gunpoint.
together our wives and children sold us.
In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. A higher gatherers. Whoa. Colombia, from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. The Haitians, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Ooh, ooh. Our highest gathering Israel. Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Rick Harshar of the Gathering of Christ Church, here along with Elder Lawyer, and from an undisclosed location in another country somewhere, Elder Gaja, you with us?
Hey, shalom, shalom, how you doing?
I'm blessed by the best, and of course you know, his name is Ahia. How you doing out there, brothers and sisters? As you can see, I'm still getting out. I think I'm past the contagious part, but I'm getting that cold out of me right now, and I have the Sister Paula's stuff she did through the healing herbs, Yapa Amath for Health, with all the ingredients in it that can get just the residue of the little cold I had out of the way. I would like to thank you all for your prayers. I've been just overdosing on colloidal silver and everything else, so thank you for your prayers. I'm back, and guess what? I'm ready. How about you? All praise be to the Most High. Oh yeah, oh yes. We got on our I Am apparel. All praise be to the Most High. The nation's growing. Just had a very, very constructive meeting with the elders and the leaders throughout the earth the other day. I mean, last night, I mean, we are ready to go, ramping up for this coming year. And we have to get to our people, especially after the ball drops. That's when the majority of people wake up from the spell that begins around Halloween. Okay. But hey, we can't blame none of our people for it. Guess what? We were all under the spell at one point. So it's no knock on anyone who's out there who may be going through things, who don't even have access to some of this information. And a matter of fact, that's why you're here. But hey, we have something to talk about this evening. Everyone is getting prepared for Thanksgiving. So I thought that the Gathering of Christ Church would do a Thanksgiving special. How about that? A Thanksgiving special. I know you're wondering, what do the elder has cooking? Well, guess what? It's not a turkey, but something is definitely cooking. A Thanksgiving special. Do me a favor. Make sure as you come in, you know the routine. Hit the like button or the dislike if you would like. It doesn't matter. By hitting the like or dislike button, okay, or preferably like, but doesn't matter as long as the word get out, because what happens is if you come into a live and hit a button, it will then trend on the suggestion page. So when people come to YouTube, it'll say, this is going live. Gathering of Christ Church is live. So if you have ever gone to YouTube and was suggested towards a concert or something else, it's because people began to hit the button and automatically the algorithm trends people who would not look at it otherwise into that particular broadcast. And I'm sure a lot of you are here ready already. That's fine. But I'm sure there's a lot of people who may wander into this particular broadcast sent through the Most High, by the Most High, to get some serious information tonight. I mean, we're going into some serious, timely information that quantifies everything we've been talking about since the Most High delivered this ministry to us through the Spirit of the Most High. All right? Oh, everyone is so caring. We have, what's her name? Christ Rule Sal 2 says, take 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of raw honey, warm water, twice per day. You know, when I get home, I'm going to do that. Thank you. I mean, you all are so supportive. I mean, we get inundated with emails and messages. Please do this and do that. And listen, your prayers do more than enough. And I take to heart what you give me. If I know it's going to benefit me, I can't say I'm speaking and teaching and saying, well, you should listen to some of the things I'm saying in total care for this work and for the health of you and your family, and not be able to receive that same in return. So when you give suggestions out there, if it falls on my ears, guess what? Usually I do it. But thank you. I really appreciate it. I really do. All praises be to the Most High. Judah's rising. I tell you that, buddy.
That's right.
Judah is on the rise. And that's why you see what I got here. Yeah. I got a bush shirt on. Eyes like red with a bush. And the Elder Lloyd, that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I have to start growing my hair out. It's getting cold right now. So I'm like, you know what? I may have a full afro by the time January come around here. I'm like, listen, just make sure let me grow my hair up. I'm like, listen, it's time. Hey, who knows? I tell you, lawyer, sooner or later, hey, I tell you, man, that, you know, it's almost time. It's almost time. You know, we're going to be on the other side of the world somewhere, and I hope you all are with us.
Right.
I'll be somewhere in the wilderness flipping pancakes, and I don't care if the bed hit the floor at that point. It doesn't matter, you know. But hey, here we go. Here we go, young man.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. I think it's enough. We have 600 people. Hit the like button so it can trend. Jumping right in. Now, I know you would like to get in on this conversation. 515 605-9327. Thanksgiving. A Thanksgiving special. And it all adds up together. That number, you see how I threw that add in there? You'll know what that means later. The calculating numbering of the children of God. Know the truth that we're teaching here, brothers and sisters, and prepare. And prepare. Okay? I'm not going to turn this into a bashing YouTube rant. Why? Because we have so many things to talk about to warn our people. And soon, brothers and sisters, like I told y'all many years ago, they're going to take YouTube away from those who are behind waking up the people. From the original content makers and those that are really having an effect on their social engineering and programming and psychosis on the people. So anyone that have enlightening information and that can break you from the matrix, they're moving off of YouTube. And I'm going to tell you that right now, right? Not too long ago, I received a message. That message is, you notice when you come on YouTube, it tell you that if you are a content, or if you are a YouTube channel owner, that 2020, there'll be some changes coming down the pipeline. Every time they make a change, it's in the corporate controller's interest against the population. That's all I have to say. But all in all, what it will come down to, and I'm going to talk about that at another time because I want to get into this Thanksgiving thing, this Thanksgiving special, is that in 2020, YouTube will reserve the right to delete any channel they're not making money from. Right? So this is a way in which they can force you into control, because if you're monetized, you're under a more restrict guideline. Why? Because they say you can't say certain things like this because the advertisers cannot advertise if your content is abrasive and could offend their customers or their sponsorship. So they try to blame it on the advertisers at first. Oh no, certain content advertisers won't pay on. So people say, well, listen, YouTube wasn't about revenue anyway. You can keep your revenue. And then every time you go into YouTube, they bug you with, why don't you subscribe to YouTube Special, YouTube Red? And no one is joining none of that hot mess because they're not on YouTube for that. So they're looking at the metrics and saying, well, okay, people are not biting. They're not paying for this. YouTube, you know, they don't want our junk. I'll tell you what, if they don't pay for it, I'll tell you what we're going to do altogether. Just cut them off it altogether. Just delete their channel to never let them rise again, which was the plan. That was the plan the whole time. But you know what? It's okay because we have our administration working around the clock, and eventually we will segue to another platform. We'll be on Vimeo or whichever else platform that will allow us to stream, and we'll be there on the Sabbaths. Ahead of time, we'll send out an email and try to contact all our subscribers to move over quickly and to begin simulcasting where they can see us on there and YouTube at the same time. And if YouTube fall off, we'll just be there. Fine. I mean, we started off on what they call that? Justin TV?
Yeah.
Every week. We went, yeah. YouTube wasn't streaming at first.
Exactly.
YouTube was a place just to post.
Yep.
So, okay. We don't have to stream here. We don't have to, listen, hey, it will all shut down anyway. So it's fine. Just make sure you're linked into historytimes.org for the academy and tap in that way if you want to hear us and see us teach and all that and continue that. Make sure you tap into gatheringofchrist.org, where we'll also have our simulcasts there live on our webpage, gatheringofchrist.org. And we'll continue until the mark of the beast is implemented. And at that time, we'll be in the wilderness flipping pancakes.
That's right.
Okay? Now, so it's all good, right? And another thing is, I spoke to the elders. We have a serious objective coming after January, in which you'll have a presence eventually throughout the whole United States. In every state and in every major city and adjoining cities, there will be a Gathering of Christ Church. Okay, we're going to have the male ministry out, the teaching ministry out there speaking on the streets, but the more effective ministry will be the community ministry.
2x2. The
2x2, going out there in the community, talking to our people, letting them know or informing them, did you know this? Here's some ingredients the CDC says is in the vaccines that's killing your children. And, you know, they're driving your children crazy with these psycho medicines, and here's the ingredients in that. And the Bible says this. And if you want to cut down criminality, let's have these community meetings on implementing some level of law amongst our community, where we agree that according to these codes of the Bible, because it's going to be easy to get to them. Why? They're already churchgoers. They already know about church. So here it is. We're going to say, well, listen, still, you can deal with your church if you would like. Come here to the community meetings, and we're going to give you the law to implement with the spirit you're receiving there, if that's where you would like to go. At least you would have to know, according to the Bible, the rights and wrongs, so that we can begin to right our community. So that's the initiative 2020, all over the earth. And not just the men, the sisters too. We're going to be out teaching, and the sister's going to be out there 2x2s. A brother going to be looking out for as she go around, and the sister's going to be dropping that understanding too. Sometimes other sisters, especially in the community, and brothers, sisters, they get offended when a brother walk up on them. They can be afraid or whatever the case is. Well, you know, it's a more inviting spirit where the sister can share information with them, literature. We have our own literature, our own printing, our own flyers. We have our own press now to be able to print all of our own stationery. Everything. We're going to do it all. One-stop shop with the Gathering of Christ Church. Get this thing out there before they pull the plug, folks. All together. And based on what I'm about to show you, I think Caesar is preparing another Thanksgiving. Caesar is preparing another Thanksgiving, folks. And that's why we're calling this the Thanksgiving Special. The Thanksgiving Special. Call on in, 515-605-9327. Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to digress for a second. I just need you to tell me about your Thanksgiving growing up. What did that entail?
I think alongside Christmas, that was probably one of the most looked forward to holidays of the year.
Okay.
It was one of those times where, of course, early in the morning, the wee hours of the morning, your mother is up, she's preparing, getting food together, cleaning and all those things, preparing for the day so that the family comes over eventually later to partake in the feast that have been prepared all day. And it was just one of those things. I'm pretty sure all of you have similar experiences where it was just one of those times a year where I guess you would either say based on the programming or based on the fact that it was only one of the times of year where your family actually made a concerted effort to come together, that it had that kind of aura surrounding it.
I'm going to tell you this, right? This is what I can remember, man. And guess what? No one could tell me even till this day what I was experiencing on Thanksgiving, on even during the Christmas meals and the coming together, sometimes we used to do a deal where after church every Sunday we would all get together. No one can tell me that our God, the God of Israel, wasn't in it somewhere. And I'm going to tell you this because I wasn't thinking about the Pilgrims. I wasn't thinking about Christopher Columbus. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about the one, only this time of year, I can see all the family that's not too busy and caught up into their mundane lives. Out of all the chaos, you could expect that uncle to come over who, you know, at the end of the night, everybody that watch him, he gonna fight somebody. We have to hold him down. But it was just this thing, right? Where you can smell the food from upstairs, right? You can smell the stuffing. You can smell, I'm just being real with you. It had nothing to do with why they set it up. It had everything to do with an opportunity to not deal with the stresses of the world because why? Everything is shut down. And now I understand it was calculated. They would shut it all down. And all those people we cared for would come together. Now, is God in that? When I was growing up, I'm like, you know what? The way we're feeling right now, no one can tell me this is wrong. Not me getting with my family. This part isn't wrong. That stuffing, okay, that I'm sniffing right now, no one can tell me that stuff. I'm going to tear that stuffing up, right? No one can tell me that chicken, that the way they were preparing that thing, dripping off the bone, next to that mac and cheese, and collard greens and cornbread, food that I can't get no other time of year, no one out there can tell me this is wrong. And you know what? I had an opportunity to really think about it. You have to understand, and we have to understand and be able to empathize to some degree with what we've always gone through. And how the Most High have given us a respite and a refuge away from our condition. And sometimes these holidays were just that. We didn't care what happened on that day years ago. I need some peace in this chaos. I would just like to have a good time with those I love. And you know what? That is totally understandable. I can understand it. Okay, it's almost disheartening to agree, and almost, I would say, cruel not to understand what our people are going through and just say, well, those things are wrong, Satan is evil, and all that, and not understand that, okay, my whole world is chaotic. My children are going through all this other stuff, and my whole family have been broken up, and you're going to take this away from me too? I mean, at least we all together here. This moment to cherish. At least this moment. Let us have this moment. You're going to rain on this too? So I began to look at it and examine it. And say, okay. How can we show our brothers and sisters or teach them to create those same moments in the Most High? Because those moments are dear. Those family moments is what creates memories. Right? So what happens when you have family members and brothers and sisters and those you care about that you know are good people at heart who are just ignorant to what's going on and they don't care about anything. They just want they want to put hot sauce on those collard greens. Straight up. They don't know about, the only thing they know is, okay, I get the day off and I know where the food is happening at. Right? And then mama staying up all night and sacrificing all her blood, sweat, and tears to put her whole soul And you know what we say down south? She would put her foot in it. Mama putting her foot in that pot. So tired cooking and just putting the spirit of love in that food, to the degree in which you look at mama and she have this little plate. She done put so much of herself into this food that she lost her own appetite. She don't even have an appetite. And the only solace or the only gratification she receives out of this is the look on her children's face and the loved one's face and just cleaning the plate. Man, do you remember that? And brothers and sisters, why am I coming to you with this perspective? Because sometimes when we get the knowledge of the truth, we become so stiff-necked and hard-hearted to a degree in which we begin to lose our empathy and forget the times we enjoyed with our family in ignorance under pagan holy days. So there should be some level of empathy to understand what they're going through to help them to where you are, without cutting them off, without separating yourself from them. There must be a way that we can get to them in those moments, knowing that it was their first day of the year in which they can actually experience a time with their family through the chaos. So, and I'm saying that, brothers and sisters, is don't forget, we know what the days are. Matter of fact, I'm going to go into, here's the true bloody story behind the origins of Thanksgiving. We're here to educate people, but we are not to lose our heart towards our family. Okay? Okay? Understand that they're not doing these things in the mind of a pagan, like these Wiccans out there, like what the Catholic Church is doing. They just want to have a good time and a simple time with their family. You know, that's it. Knowing that the opportunity might not afford itself in the future. You see what's going on in our community. So let's not lose the spirit of empathy when you have this truth. Let's not lose that spirit. Okay. Now, so in the New Testament, it goes into that. Right? Let me show you how Paul dealt with the pagans first. Right? Now, am I saying compromise your stance with the Most High? Absolutely not. But the Most High said what? Christ told the disciples what? That I will, he told the disciples, drop your nets. I'm going to make you fishers of men. So if you are a fisher, you have to understand the duties or the understanding of how to fish. Some fish go low. You have to use bait to get down and behind the rocks. Some swim at the top and you got to use feather type bait. But it's all to catch the fish. So you have to understand how to be all things to all men, that you should gain a few. And don't think that you can convince or teach the word with no empathy or love towards our people, and understanding where they are at the time. They don't have the knowledge you have. They haven't been up all night on YouTube studying videos and all those things. They're still where we were. Okay? When we, They're the same place we were when we told our uncle, hey, can you pass me those greens over the table? They're in the same spot you were in. So think about how you would have liked the information delivered to you. Just think about it for a moment. A Thanksgiving special we're going into tonight. 515-605-9327.
This is Acts chapter 15, verse number 13.
Now, this is how we, true believers in Christ, Israelites, dealt with pagans. Let's read it.
And after they had held their peace, James answered, saying, Men and brethren, hearken unto me. Simeon have declared how God at the first did visit the Gentiles, to take out of them a people for his name.
Come on.
And to this agree the words of the prophets, as it is written. After this will I return, and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord, who doeth all these things. Known unto the Most High are all his works from the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble them not, which are from among the Gentiles,
That we trouble them not who are amongst the Gentiles, read.
Who are turned to the Most High.
Who have turned to the Most High, read.
Verse 20. But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols.
We tell them to abstain from the pollution of idols.
And from fornication.
From fornication, that's unlawful sexual activity, because usually these are a lot of what they're explaining are some of the actions or practices that comes around during so-called holiday pagan times. Unchastity, loose parties, and all these other things. Right? Read.
And from things strangled, and from blood.
And from things strangled and from blood, because from the higher-ups, the authoritative higher-ups that control society, they do these so-called days on an entirely different level. Okay? And from an entirely different level. It's nothing like us sitting around saying, hey, you got 2 servings of yams. They're not dealing on the level. We're just happy to get a great meal, knowing exactly what address, what door to knock on that day. We're not even thinking about Christopher Columbus, nothing else. But guess what? These pagans, I'm talking about the top Satanists that are over authority, over society, the authoritative powers, they take that thing on an entirely different level. Okay, you're talking about child sacrifice, kids come up missing, molestation, wild freak satanic parties. They're celebrating Satan. So you have to understand there's a disparity there if you're looking at your own family members, like the authoritative Satanist from these fraternities. And you are actually judging them as if they're at the parties with these Satanists. That's the wrong approach. Your mom only doing this because there's only a few ways that we can actually show our love today for those we care about. We seldom even see our own children. So busy, can't even make ends meet. Okay? So mama is only doing it because she loves you. It's not about right or wrong with her. A lot of our people are ignorant to the understanding of the Most High and what these days are. Okay? She's doing it because she loves you. And that's what you have to understand first. And if you break that first, you may never be able to get to your family, your grandma, before the Most High have her pass over, or your auntie or your uncle. You may not ever be able to get to them if you become that abrasive and not understand and don't understand that they don't understand. But finish reading.
Yep, let's sit on that.
Now, what I wanted to go into is Paul says you have to be all things to all men. Let's get it real quick.
Yes, sir. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse number 19.
Come on.
For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all,
Come on.
that I might gain the more.
That I might gain the more. Come on.
And unto the Jews.
Now read that again.
Yes, sir. Verse 19. For though I be free from all men,
Even though I be free from all men, which means what? I have the full understanding of the discernment of good and evil. I understand what my purpose is with the Most High. And I'm not bound by no man's direction, is what Paul is saying. I'm free to serve the Most High without the directive oppression of men, without their idea of what I should be in this world. I'm free from all that, is what Paul is saying, right? I'm free from the social engineering. I know the truth now, but what?
yet have I made myself servant unto all, that I might gain the more.
But I made myself a servant unto all, that I might what?
Gain the more.
That I may gain my brother, my sister, my father. So it may be a pagan table, and it is a pagan table, but guess what? My family is at that table. My family who would bleed and die for me is at that table. Now, how can I get them from that table to the table of the Most High? Is the proper way of understanding that. Not, not viewing them from a condescending perspective. As if what they're doing is so nasty and you're so clean and all that. And we all go through it in our transition, but you have to understand how that comes off. Read.
Verse 20. And unto the Jews I became as a Jew.
As a Jew, I became a Jew. Now he's talking about Israelites, right? He understand even during Christ's time that there were some Israelites who was just starch pharisaical, and their stance were going to stand on the law, hell or high water. That's it. But he understood how to be around them, right? Because if he was to use his liberty that he would use amongst the Gentiles or amongst the people who didn't know any better and was like that around them, it would offend them and turn them off from the gospel of Christ. Well, he was trying to convert them into understanding grace and all that. He couldn't do that by exercising grace. It would have did what? It would have placed a stumbling block amongst the Israelites or the Jews who didn't know Christ fully yet. Mm-hmm. See? So he says, listen, I can't exercise certain liberties amongst an Israelite to say, where are your fringes? Where's this? Where's your beard? Where's this? You can't exercise grace around them. It offends them. So when I'm with an Israelite, I understand, I'm cognitive that they're looking at everything about me to see where I'm breaking the law. So I won't offend them. But through the opportunity in their presence, I'll try to show forth some level of brotherhood to let them understand that I'm not a threat to you. You're not my enemy. I have nothing against you. I'm just here to deliver the peace that Christ have in me. That's it. And hopefully through that, he'll understand we're brothers. And at that point going forward, conversation can ensue, which will lead to greater understanding. Me understanding him as well as him understanding me. That's how you do it. Not, hey, you see another brother who's an Israelite or whatever the case is.
Right.
You see him and be like, yeah, what camp you with? Mm-hmm. Did you ask them about this? Right. Did you go into that? You should ask this. I seen guess what? It's crazy because I was driving in Philadelphia to go to the P.O. box. And guess who? Someone is driving behind me. And I'm looking behind me. This happened 2 months ago. And I see a guy, young guy, about 23 years old, in a purple shirt, driving behind my car, and I slow up. And when I get to 20th Street, he comes up behind me and says, "Hey man, you Rakash Yard? You Rakash Yard?" I'm like, "Yeah, how you doing, brother?" And he was like, "Yeah." He says, "Man, I checked you out." He's like, "You know," I'm like, "So you IUIC?" He's like, "Yeah, brother, yeah." He says, "Yeah." Like, brother, listen, man, it's all good. We brothers. I'm not here to listen. What those brothers is teaching you, what they're showing you, guess what? They're giving you the law of the Most High, right? Hey, I know the hell we're dealing with in our communities. So what, I'm going to just confuse this young man and have him not know which way to go and he haven't built a foundation yet?
Right.
I'm like, nah. You know, he's like, yeah. He's like, yo, I just wanted to say hi, brother. And I just respected the fact that he wasn't looking down on me. He didn't come in with no negative vibration. And you know what? I wasn't going to cast a stumbling block in front of it. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going to do that. Mm-hmm. He know how I already feel. and what doctrine I teach, because he said he followed me online. And he made a choice. That's fine, right? But I wasn't going to use that opportunity to slander those he respect. Because it's deeper than just the guy or one guy that leads the whole thing. I know the bond that comes with the brothers he's linking with in his respective areas. They depend on each other. Okay? He have developed a bond with those brothers in Philadelphia who would die for him, who would bleed for him. Who am I to get in the way of that? Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's what Paul was saying. Paul is saying, well, listen, to the Jew, I became a Jew. And you know what? He did the shalom and all of them like shalom. But he was happy to see me.
Right.
And you know what? I was happy to see him. Okay? Because in the wilderness, there will be no white shirts on this side, purple shirts on this side,
right,
this on that side. No, we'll be one. Okay? Read on.
Verse number 20. And unto the Jews I became as a Jew, that I might gain the Jews.
That I may gain the Jews. Read.
To them that are under the law, as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law.
That I may gain them which were under the law. Read.
To them that are without law, as without law, being not without law to God, but under the law to Christ.
Read that part again.
To them that are without law, as without law.
He says, them without law, as what?
As without law.
As one without law. Now, is Paul saying that he was going to break the law around them? Mm-hmm. No, but he would appear as one without law, which means I grew up with my brother, and I know, Lord have mercy, do my brother love the Cowboys and love this and love that. But I understand the certain things which is dear to his heart growing up with him. So I can have a conversation that's not sinning on his level. I can, and my brother would be like, yeah, we know you've changed, but my brother still exists there. You still love me. We can still chop it up. We can still talk and have normal conversation. And guess what? That lifeline will always be there. And that's what Paul meant by as one in the world, being one in the world. Not you sinning and being unlawful, but you're able to have regular conversations where brothers and sisters feel comfortable talking around you. Where everything they say, you want to pull out a scripture and say, well, you know, God said you shouldn't say that or do that. Who can have a good time like that?
Right.
So You have to understand where they are and conversate on their level. And the opportunity will afford itself, will arise from that coming together. It will lead to a private conversation. Because what they want to know is, I know what you know. Why aren't you judging me? Why aren't you saying things against me? Why aren't you I don't get this. You know what's right. I'm even trying to bait you into saying something so you can tell mom and dad and Uncle Ray what's going on. And you're not even taking the bait. But see, now you're risen to a degree of an Israelite that's beyond simply the flesh. Right?
And it's deep you're mentioning this because I have a personal example. Being in this ministry where there isn't that level of being just so judgmental and openly just rebuking people at everything they do that you see that's wrong. And I have family members who are Israelites who are the contrast. Everything is an issue. They got to point out and it's like that aspect drives them away from the idea of Israelites, but seeing the example that I would set forth kind of piques their interest to the point where now they're watching the videos, whereas before they really couldn't care, they could care less about this. So this approach actually does more good and does more conversion than this thing of always having to point out every single issue, every single fault, and always trying to rebuke in every situation and scenario. Sometimes just being, being patient, being, loving with people and just leading by example. That's more effective than any aspect that you could, than you can imagine.
And it will give them an opportunity to lay their heart on you.
Exactly.
There's no way you can do a ministry of Christ understanding the destitute state our people in, knowing that we have to go and grab them out of it. And yet deal with them with a heavy hand and a judgmental eye. It's impossible to do the ministry of Christ like that because we're going to see some very heinous activity amongst our people. Our people are suffering. Right? So I wanted to put that out there because some people ask, well, what happens if, I happen over mama's house? Or I happen to go over my cousin's house or whatever the case is, because they're not doing it for those things. They just invited me because they love me. Is there an opportunity where I'm not going there to deal with the paganism, but I have a greater objective in the Most High? Or when should I just stay away from it altogether and that activity is sin being around them during this time of year? Paul addressed that too. Right? Let's go into it where it talks about the shambles, and also I need to go into for conscience sake. And we have to make sure that if you're going to exercise grace, that it doesn't put a stumbling block before those who are actually watching you, silently waiting for you to trip up. See, when you have this truth, there's it's like walking a tightrope. You're always under the magnifying glass, and you have that one person that's looking for you to do something wrong or to slip up to say, yeah, I knew you were wicked just like us. Look at that. They ain't say nothing the whole time when everyone's saying, yeah, he's going in the right direction. She's going in the right direction. But let me tell you, you can't shut up their mouth after one slip up, one hiccup. Now this person is down on you saying, I told you they was a hypocrite. So we're going to show you, according to the Bible, how did the disciples deal with these things? How did Paul deal with these things, these times of year, when it involved our people? Okay. Let's go to it.
1 Corinthians 8:1.
Yeah.
Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth.
We know that we all have knowledge, but guess what? Knowledge puffeth up. Okay, if you view it from the outside, if a person came and didn't know either party, they would say that particular person is knowledgeable, but that particular person is pompous. There's no humility. It's like you are spiritually bullying someone who is saying, listen, it's already, they tapped out of it already, and you're still just hammering them. Right? Go on.
Verse 2, and if any think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing, yet as he ought to know. But if any man love God, the same is known of him. As concerning therefore eating of those things which are offered in sacrifice unto idols.
Now, in eating the things that are sacrificed to idols, because the reality is during these times of years, you know that the foods that we eat in the markets are actually sacrificed to certain gods. A lot of you probably didn't know that. I mean, I was perplexed about 3 years ago. I went into a ShopRite in New Jersey, and there was a rabbi the day before Thanksgiving praying over the whole restaurant in a corner of the restaurant. He had the thing on his head, the box, the cube on his head, all that. Rabbi in the corner praying over in the supermarket. But he was up in a corner in an office. But I seen him. I was looking right at him. He was hitting his head like this, and he was doing his prayer. And I'm looking right at him. I'm sitting there getting lettuce. I'm sitting there, I'm getting the salad. I'm getting my cucumbers. I'm looking at this guy. He like this.
Right.
And you know what? I didn't say, man, I'm getting up out of here. No, you know what? I got all my ingredients I came for that day. Because that's what they do. They sacrifice these foods to idols. When you go into a Chinese store or an Asian store usually, and you see some of those little weird looking Buddhas and all that, you see a little counter and where they had some of the food in the morning sometimes. In our neighborhoods, they had them little altars where they would put certain foods all there, thinking that some little midget guy gonna jump out and grub it. This is what they into. But Paul says, understand what's going on. So this is concerning eating things sacrificed to idols, right? Read.
As concerning therefore those things, or eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world.
We know that an idol is nothing in the world.
And that there is none other God but one.
But there's only one God. Read.
For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many, but to us it is but one God, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him.
Exactly. So the whole thing is, even if I go amongst my family, if I went amongst my family during that period of grace, before the Most High gave us this ministry, I used to go there. I knew my family was going to be and all that. Even I was an Israelite since my early 20s. I would still go, and because I knew my uncle was going to be there, my cousin. I'm like, I love my family. I wasn't going to just renounce my family because I'm an Israelite. But as soon as they broke out and they sitting there holding hands and talking about, let's say a prayer, you know what? I'm up in the bathroom. I'm like, I'm waiting for it to pop off, and I see it popping off. I'm like, they're about to get it in right now. And guess what? They didn't even miss me. I strategically just faded into the bathroom until they was finished what they had to do down there with whatever guys they were dealing with. And I came right back down. It's like, yeah, Cousin Shirley, how you doing? Yeah, I'm playing checkers with my nephew, all that. Opportunity. And it's deep that the same people that I didn't push off. Let me tell you, my family from North Carolina, all of them were, I'm talking about church-going Christians from the slave ships. The generations is through all the way to the slave ships. I never once dropped anything on them like that because I understood it would offend them. I'm talking about their mother is a woman pastor and all that. I'm talking about growing up in the early 2000s. I didn't want to disturb them and all that. It would have been a fight. All of them are reaching out now. They was like, man, man, we seen you on YouTube. But like, I knew that was you. Da, 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 da. Like, man, you dropping it down. You know what? But the opportunity with me being with them privately and always being the son they knew, the nephew they knew, the cousin they knew, the Most High brought it around full circle. Where can I find a church in North Carolina? When are you coming back to North Carolina? Right. So it's like, Junior, I can't believe this. We seen the video, we seen you teaching. And guess what? Some of my family that I was able to be around during the holidays and all that growing up, they was following me and didn't know that then it all came together when my mother said, that's Junior. And they was like, oh my, I've been following this guy for 4 or 5 years. Wasn't he overseas? They was like, oh my goodness. So you have to understand the spirit of grace and keeping that connection because the devil is going to try to use that against you. What the devil is going to do is say, well, listen, what a cult does is separate you from your family. What a cult does is they'll tell you you must separate and do your own thing and all that, and they'll start to come down on you. They've already knitted out the whole sheet on how to identify a cult when somebody starts coming down on you. So you got to be, the question is, do you want to save your family? You have to understand the power of grace now that you discern good from evil and know you are an Israelite. And you have to understand how to utilize it to pull them out of paganism. That's the next level. You know it's wrong now. Now, how can we pull them out of it now? Right? Come on. Someone says, can we eat the food though? Let's read it. It depends. That's a good question. Can we eat the food though? Hit that like button so y'all can drive some people in because I know all of you are going to want to hear this, the answer to this one. Can we eat the food though? It depends. That's what Paul is about to break down. It depends. Let's break it down.
It says here in verse number 6, but to us is but one God, there's but one God, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord, Yeshua the Anointed, by whom are all things, and we by him.
Yeah.
Howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge. For some,
you see, he says it's not in every man that knowledge. Everyone is not going to understand that our God is the God of all gods. And he has no association with the fallen gods of the pagans and their rituals and what they're and how they're practicing. All people are not going to understand that, is what Paul is saying. So you must have the knowledge of that.
Exactly.
Read.
Howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge. For some with conscience of the idol, unto this hour, eat it as a thing offered unto an idol.
See?
And their conscience being weak is defiled.
Their conscience being weak is defiled. Read.
Verse number 8. But meat commendeth us not to the Most High, for neither if we eat are we the better, neither if we eat not are we the worse. But
hold up, read it again.
But meat commendeth us not to the Most High, for neither if we eat are we the better,
neither if we eat are we the better,
neither if we eat are we the worse.
Neither if we eat.
If we eat not.
If we eat not.
Are we the worse.
Are we the worse. So we have to discern when to eat or when not to eat. Listen to this.
Verse number 9. But take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours.
It says, but take heed
lest by any means this liberty of yours,
knowing that you need to build or continue the bond of your family, to bring them out of paganism. Be careful that this liberty of yours being around them, read,
this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
You have to be careful if your liberty will become a stumbling block to them which are weak. See? Which means, I know a person, or just say, here's a hypothetical. Here's a person who's still coming up and isn't grounded yet. I didn't tell this person who's around me that there's a cousin I've been trying to drop the truth on for about 3 years who's at this particular gathering. Only thing he know is I'm saying, listen, I need you to come.
Right.
You know, just come and hang out with me. I'm going to see my family real quick, brother. Can you go with me? And he's still young in the spirit. And he comes in and there's a full-blown Christmas tree up there and all types of pagan things going on. And last week he seen me teaching against the Christmas tree. He seen me speaking against paganism. And I'm in a room with all that I speak against. And he don't have the knowledge to discern that I'm not in there for the Christmas tree. I'm not in there for none of this. I'm in there for my uncle that I've been waiting to talk to for 3 years. To pull him out. So if you going around your family will become a stumbling block to one of them, which will prohibit them from actually coming into this knowledge, or may offend a brother or sister who's in the truth, it's best to eat not. Not to use your liberty like that. You go deal with your family separately, one-on-one, to help them. Not using your opportunity of liberty to offend someone who respects where you are in the Most High. That's liberty. That's how Christ was able to be amongst publicans and sinners, but he never uses liberty to cause someone else to doubt or someone else to fall. Okay. Read on.
Verse 10. For if any man see thee which has knowledge, sit at meat.
Because if a brother see you or a sister see you who have knowledge, sit at meat.
In the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols?
Exactly. So it's saying this is on another level. This is talking about going into the temple. You're in the church now with a brother or a sister. Right? Now, it so happened that this ministry started when Lawyer came in. This ministry started because a friend of mine who was a pastor in Philadelphia offered me space to teach on a day in which nothing was going on in his church on a Sabbath. I grew up with him. He was a Sunday and still a Sunday pastor till this day. And through charity, gave me space to teach the knowledge that I'm an Israelite, the Sabbath, and all that. He used his liberty to have someone contrary to his doctrine in the same building. But guess what? Eventually, I had to go. Because me and that brother's relationship never changed. He's a guy I grew up with. But we began to expand. He started looking in the door on Sabbath, and it was more people in my class almost than what was going on with him. And then we had guys coming through who were weak-minded, young in the spirit, began to contend against those who was coming that was a part of his flock. Not realizing that, hold up, you can't, stomp on a brother who have opened his doors for someone and now tread on the congregation. You can't do that against. And that liberty now was cut off. He says, listen, my liberty now is causing some type of confusion in my building. I didn't let you in my building for this. And he says, I'm going to give you 2 weeks. Understand? But I'm showing you liberty from his side. Because it became a stumbling block for his people. Now, on the other hand, right, I can go up in his church right now, even if you wanted to. I could speak on a Sunday if I wanted to in his church. I could go through there, right there, 16th and Styles in Philadelphia. Every Sabbath, he sit there and he's giving food and giving garments and all that now to the homeless. I can go there and say hi to all the people I grew up with and all that. I can do all that because of my prior relationship with him. Tomorrow, he's going to open it up where the homeless can come in for Thanksgiving and get food. I can go there tomorrow and say hi to all the people I grew up with, right? But guess what? If I go there with a young brother who just came into the truth and see me on YouTube and see me sitting fraternizing with a pastor they don't know I have a prior relationship with. You see where we're going here? In a church, in a temple, that can become a stumbling block that would lead that brother who's with me or that sister who believe in what I'm teaching back to the world. So I'm giving you these examples to show you that you have to walk circumspectly, mindful of who's looking and understanding how to exercise your liberty properly. Okay? If you're going a place strictly for carnality and you're going there just to have a meal, then leave it alone. Okay? Leave it alone, because Paul had a mission. The disciples had a mission. I hope that gives some level of clarity there. Right? But go ahead, Elder Lloyd.
If I can add also, just reading verse 10 again, it says, "For if any man see thee, which has knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him, which is weak, be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols."
So he'll think it's good to go to church and just do Sunday because he don't understand the relationship.
Exactly.
He don't understand the liberty. So he'll be like, well, okay, it's okay. I can celebrate Christmas now and then.
Exactly.
Right?
So there's a certain level of liberty that comes with that growth and that knowledge and understanding through time and tenure that the Most High may give to one. But another person, it may be against their conscience.
Exactly.
They may not be prepared to operate in those particular situations and now think it's okay, like you said, to do a Sunday worship or to celebrate Christmas or things of that particular nature.
And what he's saying above all here, in knowledge and in our growth in this truth, right? Is that there's a responsibility in our liberty. The Most High will allow you liberty to spread this word and to get to people. But understand that your liberty can become a stumbling block to others. Right? I just wanted to put that out there. Now, going back now, anything else, Elder Lawyer, before we go? Because I need to go into the origin of Thanksgiving, and then we have to hit that like button, right? We have to go into the calculating numbering of the children of God, know the truth and prepare, because they are preparing a Thanksgiving, and they getting us all fat, like a turkey, in preparation for a Thanksgiving on steroids. And no better time to talk about this than on the eve of so-called Thanksgiving. A Thanksgiving special, the calculating number of the children of God, know the truth and prepare, because they are preparing another Thanksgiving feast. Okay? Similar to, but on a greater level than what happened against the North American Indians, the Baliqua Taino Indians, the American Holocaust, how Americas came to be, being destroyed by the Romans. Well, guess what? That's the origin of Thanksgiving. And guess what? They're preparing another one. How do you know? The preparation is in the mix. Well, you know it's in the mix when they began to put outright in public the fact that they're numbering the children of Israel. I have some data for you all today. It's going to blow you all away. It's going to blow you away. Elder Lawyer, you have anything?
No, sir.
It's going to blow you away. But before I go there, of course, we have to play. I'm going to bring Elder Gaj in for 1 second beforehand. We have to go. Let me just real quick give the commercial real quick for the Academy and come right back with a Thanksgiving special. The calculating numbering of the children of God. Know the truth and prepare. They are numbering you. And they're getting all of our people nice and fat, just like a Thanksgiving turkey before the carving. We'll be right back. Hold tight.
Are you seeking to strengthen your biblical foundation? Join us in the Hebrew Bible Academy, where we offer 12 weeks of in-depth learning in a structured environment. Receive real-time news from Brother Shapat and amazing lessons by Elder Ricard. Learn ancient Hebrew with Elder Lawyer. With 12 amazing lessons, you're guaranteed to learn more about your true biblical history and authentic Hebrew language than you would in a traditional Christian church for only a one-time payment of $150 or 3 monthly payments of $50. Join us at historytime.org and sign up today. It's not too late. See you in the Academy.
All right. Coming right back with you. Yes, and I wanted to mention real quick, all praises be to the Most High, that yes, we have a 50-state initiative coming out for the 2020. We just had the meetings with all the elders and deacons, and we're going to also branch that out to the UK, make sure all the surrounding areas have a church there, and we're going to move with fast tracking our African initiative for 2020. So you'll hear a lot about that. Now, if you would like to support that, because there's a lot of setting up, training brothers, moving different elders and deacons out into remote areas and different areas to set up, plane tickets and everything. Of course, I'm doing the music and other things that I'm trying to do to accumulate as much finances as I can, putting it right back into the works to get to our people. Okay, that's why you hear the music and us doing these different things. Is the way we can actually accumulate finances in a short amount of time to set up these churches before, okay, the real trouble ensues. Okay, so if you would like to support our initiatives, you can, as far as traveling and all those things, you can send a check or money order. You can simply send it to 2000 Hamilton Street, P.O. Box 946. 2000 Hamilton Street, P.O. Box 946, Philadelphia, PA 19130. You can title it Gathering of Christ Church Travel, or you can you can put it offering. You can use my name or lawyer's name, and it'll go towards the initiatives as far as outside of the church's money. Whatever the case is, whatever you say you're sending it for, offering, tithes, or the initiative towards us traveling and all that, we'll put that aside. And, and this is the finances we will use to actually set up the churches. Real quick, one other announcement before I dive right in is that next month, mid-month, we will be in Dallas. The opening of our church there in the Dallas Texas area will be there. We'll also be doing, I'm going to be there from the 13th to the 15th. And on that Saturday, we're going to have a truth concert, Music with a Purpose, with the body there. We have another one scheduled, probably going to be even bigger, in Houston during the Purim time. We're going to do White Night, Music with a Purpose. The White Night is going to be brothers and sisters dressed in all white carpet. We're going to come through there. I'm going to get John Boy. I'm going to talk to him from California, have him come through there, and all the different artists and truth artists that have been blessed with the gifts of the Most High to come through and bring forth their gifts of music. And we're going to have that done in Houston. Micah Allah, Lakwama, the family. I mean, his wife can sing. I mean, they have a lot of talent in Houston. So we're going to make that more so a bigger concert and a bigger venue. And in the midst of it, we're going to be dropping the truth for those who haven't been witnessed to. Okay, so, and that's going to be in February. And you'll hear more about that through our broadcast, as well as you can go to gatheringofchrist.org to get some details on how to get the tickets and whatever the case might be. Also, we're doing enrollments right now. We're in the tail end, the last quarter of our current Hebrew and Bible Academy. And we'll be doing a new Hebrew and Bible Academy. We're taking enrollments as we speak. So if you want to become a part of that academy, the first week we're going into the creation of the universe, broken down like you have never seen ever through the history of your Bible studies. Okay, come in and learn the truth, who created, how the earth was created, how the universe was created. And I'm going to go into this time, Elder Lawyer, the celestial, the ranking angels before the earth was made. So the creation of the universe now, before we get to earth, what are the ranking orders and duties of the angels? And what part did they play in creating the earth? That's where we're going into in the creation of the universe this time. No longer are we going into the breaking down the foolishness of atheist teachings and philosophers. No longer will we answer to their nonsense, their Greek nonsense. Okay? If you don't believe that there's a God, that all what we see came out of, all this order, you believe came out of something just blowing up. I mean, who would pay money to go hear an idiot say that all this order of the stars, the moon, the sun, and all that came from just something random 360 billion years ago? Idiots, they are. Fools, they are. These so-called satanic atheists. So no more will our church be answering to their foolishness. Like, we take half of the lesson breaking down their nonsense, their theories. Well, I think it happened like this. Well, I think maybe I was a monkey. Okay. I mean, we must have been monkeys. Look at my baby, my baby toe. And there's really no use for that. I mean, it used to be big enough to grab branches. This is the nonsense the Greeks and the Romans are teaching in their school, that your little toe have no real use. It's just it didn't fall off yet, you know, due to our present time in evolution. So no longer will I answer to their foolishness. We're going full board into creation, ignoring the Edomite foolishness and their philosophies. And we're going directly into the celestial using all Bible sources that the Bible refers us to. So you can understand what's working, really what's working behind the scenes. In this academy, you don't want to miss it.
Now, as you're speaking, listen, we haven't spoken.
We haven't spoken.
Now, check this out. Now, we can't show this yet.
Check it out. I didn't speak to Lawyer at all about, because I was thinking, how can I bring this creation teaching is one of the Most High bestowed a good understanding of creation on the church. And I was like, last night I'm saying, you know what? we need to really, in my mind, we need to really delve into the celestial world, how hell was built. What was the thinking? What was the thought process of this realm from the heavenly narrative? Because keep in mind, there was a time Earth didn't exist at all. And a lot of life was happening.
Exactly.
But go on.
So you can see this. Again, we can't show you this at this moment. For those who are coming to the academy, you'll see some of the things we're putting together. But as you can speak, you can see some of the information present.
I'm looking at it.
Okay, going into celestial things and things of that nature. And as you're mentioning, we don't necessarily have to focus on what the scientists are dealing with, because just reading biblically, and this is something that, you know, it's deep you're bringing this out. This is something that's been on my spirit for a while. The rich content within the Bible itself, the wisdom literature, and all those different records which speak about the wisdom and the might of how the Most High created all things from beginning to end. It's so much content there that we don't even need to focus on what they're dealing with. We can just deal with the biblical content and have a beautiful lesson focusing on the Most High's
Exactly. Because why deal with non-believers?
Right.
They're just in the way anyway. We use that same time to edify our brothers and sisters with the word of the Most High.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. Hebrew and Bible Academy. Go to historytimes.org, gatheringofchrist.org. And last but not least, please support the music project, okay? Go to gatheringofchrist.org, get the album, go to royaltymusicbyshepherd.com, download the album right there, and support the work, because we're only going to use these resources knowing that there's a short time to get to our people. So as you support these things, revenue can come in, resources will come in to actually help us really establish this right and help our people prepare them for what's coming. Because guess what? They are preparing another Thanksgiving massacre. Okay? Now we're going to get into what Thanksgiving is. But before I do that, Elder Gaja, where are you? Where Elder Gaja at? Come on, man. Where are you? Come on, talk to me now. Hold up now. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. I see his picture there, but where is he?
Is the speaker on?
Let me check.
So it should be on. It should be on.
Hey, Gaja, where are you, young man?
Which one is he coming through?
He should be coming through that one right there. Right here. Right here. 1 second. Let me see what's going on with Gaja. Make sure that yeah. Is the cord connected? Yeah. 1 second, folks.
It was working earlier.
All right. Let me see here. I'm going to try it again. That was him. Well, tell me he done fell asleep on me now. 1 second, folks, because he don't want to miss this.
I'm sorry, but the person you have called is unavailable. Please leave a message after the tone.
Okay. I'll wait for him to call back. Anyway, jumping right in. There you go. Oh, my goodness. Where you went, young man? Where are you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You didn't hear me talking to you, young man? Oh, my God. What's going on with you, young man? Talk to me. That's Gaja for you, man. My brother. He's fumbling with the phone. Hold on with us, folks. You know what? Guys, I'm gonna put you on hold for a moment.
I got the mic on mute.
What?
I had the mic on mute. My apologies.
How you doing, Gaja?
I'm blessed.
I'm not even gonna delve into where you or what's going on here. Okay. Do they have a form of Thanksgiving over in the UK or in Jamaica or any place like that? In those areas?
No, not necessarily, no. But in the UK they did deal with that bonfire they celebrated bonfire night.
Now bonfire night is actually a celebration of the plot that the Roman Catholic Church had against King James. They was looking to blow a false flag. They was looking to blow King James up with kegs of gunpowder.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the gunpowder.
And they still celebrate that in England till this day, folks. Check that out. I'm going to tell you, we told everyone that King James was a black man. I'm going to tell you, he was a black man. He's the true Protestants. We were the Protestants. Protestants means to protest. We were against the Antichrist, Trinity garbage, Virgin Mother satanic garbage the Christian church on Sunday morning was teaching. And guess what? King James authorized the word that's tearing them asunder right now. It's because of how we're teaching and what we're teaching is why they had to purchase all these other platforms like Google and YouTube and try to get people off of YouTube. And I'm going to show you, it's a singular focus on what's going on with us is why the corporate world is censoring everyone. I know these people think, oh, man, that sounds like a prideful statement. That's conspiratorial. Do you think y'all that important that they went and bought Google and did everything? Guess what, folks? Wait do you see the information we're about to bring out? They're focusing on Israelites. That's their singular focus right now. Because what we're teaching is changing the whole world. It's breaking the psychosis of the masses, not just amongst our people. The whole world is listening.
Let me read this real quick.
Go on.
1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9. For I think that the Most High have set forth us, the apostles, last, as it were appointed to death, for we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men. So as you stated, everyone is watching.
Everyone is watching. Everyone is watching, folks. Elder Gaja.
Yes, sir.
You can put that back on mute. I got something to show my people real quick.
Okay.
They are preparing, folks, another Thanksgiving. And I'm going to show you why. We are about to back up everything I've just stated. Okay? A Thanksgiving special, the calculating numbering of the children of God, know the truth and prepare. Why? What is the history behind the first Thanksgiving? The Romans sending in reconnaissance, right? Sending in so-called Christians to come through and spread the good word of Jesus, right? Oh no, we come in peace. Just to help, this land is your land, this land is my land. This land was made for you and me. Only to invite the Indians in who was at peace with them, right? Who taught them how to live through these bitter cold winters in what we call America today. Only to put pox, the smallpox and different diseases in the blankets to kill off the Indians. And one day they invited them during what you would call a harvest time sacrifice of pagans. A certain time a year they would do this. To sacrifice a certain tribe of North American Indians to their pagan gods. Thanksgiving. They're thanking Satan or the horn god Pan for delivering the blood of the children of Israel into their hands. Is the origin of Thanksgiving. That's the origin. Now, I can't blame some Gentile walking down the street today who's probably staggering in or out of a house looking to have a party or whatever. I can't blame, there's no blaming them for what happened on Thanksgiving, because a lot of the Gentile nations in this earth was miseducated also. They don't even know the origin of Thanksgiving. And they could care less. They want a party. So I'm not dropping this to blame some white. No one have to clench their pocketbook and worry about or fear of some mad black man coming up because the white man killed some Indians. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with informing people. The people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Okay. All people, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, but the Gentiles, in order for them to lie to us folks, these demons had to lie to everyone. They had to lie to their own people. Okay.
If I can read this real quick.
Go on.
Revelation 12:9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world.
He deceived the whole world. So I'm not going to, some guy, some college guy, he's sitting there rolling out of a party. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. And then you have some guy look at him. You the devil, you killed my people. He's like, what, man, where the party at? What are you talking about?
Right.
It's like, it's nonsensical, folks. It's nonsensical. Why? Because the whole earth is ill-informed. And it's our duty as ministers of the Most High to inform all people, let everyone know that the day of the Lord is at hand, that Christ is coming back. And you know what? And I got to be straight. He's not coming back looking like John Travolta. Okay? Angry black man is coming back. And we're letting everyone know he's coming. But first, we have to inform people. We have to let them know how to choose the right side. What is the right narrative according to the Bible? What is our true position and purpose for life within this earth when it comes to God's perspective? That's the duty of ministers to teach this, right? So when I teach of Thanksgiving, even though it's a heinous type of thing and give the knowledge of it, it's not to anger people against other people. It's to give you the knowledge of what God's, the authoritative powers are actually serving. And I'm speaking of your politicians, your high Masonic, your high Masons, all of that. Why? Because they have the knowledge and chose Satan. All right. So that with the information, you can choose rightly and say, well, okay, Thanksgiving isn't correct according to God. I got to even exercise liberty to be around my people to actually do it. Okay. Sunday ain't right according to the Most High. Sunday worship is the worship of the sun. It's Mithras worshiping. Semiramis, the virgin mother of Babylon, worshiping. Nimrod and Tammuz worshiping. Right? So you're asking, now that's left with, well, what can I do? Now the ministers come in and say, well, listen, leave all from your pagan ways and serve the true and living God, the God of Israel, the God who made us, the God who've made the children of Israel and have awakened us to his marvelous kingdom and to what we would call serious biblical understanding of how to serve with a true purpose. One, holy days is what God gave our people. Satan gave us holidays. Eyes is synonymous with I. So you do serve holy days, but unknowingly. The gods you're serving have been hid from you, but they're still holy days. Someone is sacrificing something to a God that day, a lesser God than the God of Israel. It's our duty to say, since you know how to celebrate holy days anyway, do it according to the law. Go to Leviticus 23 and study Leviticus 23. Those are the days God, who created all gods, who've created all of us. These are the days he's given mankind to serve him in spirit and in truth. And the same time that we worship these days are also being followed from the heavenly realm. Thou shalt be done on earth as it is in heaven. We are now connecting the people back to the God who has made us, not blaming them for their social programming and miseducations. We're not blaming the people. The people are ignorant. We're not to blame the people, folks. It's our duty with eyes to see to do what? Bring people into the knowledge of the Most High and show them what's right. To the Jews first and also the Gentiles. Now, we're not just pulling the rug from under our family members and saying, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. We're giving them a viable option and say, listen, that food you cook on Thanksgiving, that food you're cooking on Christmas, it'll still be good on Passover. It'll still be good on Purim. It'll still be good because I don't care what day you cook that food. Mama, we're coming. Right? Mm-hmm. So now it's giving solution.
Right.
Opposed to judging and being condescending. Now we're bringing solution to our family. Right? Mm-hmm. Come on.
Yes, sir. Just one second. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thine own pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight. So we have to show our people, as you're mentioning, how to take that same love, that same work that we put, the same finances that we put into the holidays, to take that same love and put it into the Sabbath. Now make the Sabbath a delight.
Yes.
Make the Passover a delight. Okay?
Exactly.
So just using that same love of family and connection of family, taking that same thing, that same element, and using it towards the Most High Sabbaths and His holy days.
Exactly, lawyer. Because like I was mentioning, no one can tell us family is wrong and God is not in that, and the sacrifice and the sweat and tears our mama put in that food. That you can't say Satan was in that.
Right.
That's wrong. Your family is doing this out of love for you. That's the only time of year that this satanic world will allow them to actually show that love. And they're bound, they're restricted by these satanic rules in captivity to say, well, listen, it's only one day I get to see him anyway. So they're not looking at these holy days like a lot of us may view it. It's an opportunity for them to show their love. And you can't say that that's all wicked. Okay, what you have to do is show them how to share that love on God's days. And you can't do it by bashing them and being condescending to your own family. You can't do it that way. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Now, Elder Lawyer, let's jump right in now. Let's jump right in. Right? Because I'm going to tell you, there will soon, brothers and sisters, there will soon be an exodus. There will be an exodus. And keep in mind, folks, when we left out of Egypt, it wasn't just those who were all right and in order and all that. No, we were all Israelites, but the rebels were in the camp amongst all of us and were judged in the wilderness by the Most High. And I'm putting that out there because the Most High is just not going to initially deliver just those who know they're Israel and Israelites and all that. And no, it's going to be people amongst you from all walks of life in that wilderness with us. That time is coming. I want to put it out there. So we got to learn how to coexist and deal with this truth in real life sense. Okay. And then it's no longer considered cultish from the world's perspective when you're dealing with the truth in common sense, with common sense. Okay, and we're gonna be having lessons on that soon. Okay, but now, not becoming a Pharisee. Okay, with this word, an enemy of Christ, because don't forget, folks, a Pharisee was an enemy of the gospel. Don't forget that. So when you get this truth, you cannot become a Pharisee. Now, Elder Lawyer, getting into Thanksgiving now. 515-6059-327, right? I'm going to pull in one call, then we're going to jump into Thanksgiving. Then I got the data to pull up real quick, right? 501 area code. Pull in a quick call. Shalom. Okay, I'm going to pull in another call, 347 area code. Make sure nothing is playing in the background. 437 area code. Shalom.
Good evening, elders. How are you? I am really, this lesson you're having tonight is really right on. This is just what I needed. I said I came into the truth about 2 years ago. And when I learned about the holidays and we couldn't celebrate, and I was telling my family that first year, you know, Thanksgiving, well, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that. They said, but when are we going to eat? And of course, I love turkey just as well as the next person. But that following, what so happens is had 3 turkeys over the holidays. I saved one of them, and one of those turkeys, I used it for 4. And so this is this lesson that you have tonight is showing me how to wean my family into being my oldest granddaughter. She's 16 tomorrow, and I'm gonna go over there and eat because I do like it.
Hey, sister, your phone is real bad right now. Your phone is real bad.
I'm sorry. Hold on just a minute.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to put you on hold if it don't shore up in a couple of seconds.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, is that better?
That's better. Go on.
Hello? Better. Okay. Like I was saying, this lesson is really quite on. It's helping me to realize how to wean my family into doing this. And my idea was, I read somewhere where that like dedication is usually like a week-long thing that people party long. Well, I figured that even though it's like the season near Christmas when people start having Christmas parties, we have these parties and still we don't have our eggnog and whatever else we like to have. But you get kind of maybe just gradually inform folks as to what this celebration is about. But I did have one question for you. With eating these foods that they sacrifice to the idols, I know that there's this one scripture where it says that the Most High does not hear blessings when you're saying the blessings for these feasts that He didn't ordain. But how can we forget? When you bring the food home from the store, say a blessing to.
Hey, sister, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think I got the gist of what you were saying. I'm going to answer you offline because it's quite hard. It's bad broadcasting. I can't hear you. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, what I was able to extrapolate from what she was saying is the fact that she's thanking us for a perspective of how to get to her family during these holy days instead of being so judgmental. And that's good. That's number one. So that's the key point, and that's the whole point of us ministering and edifying, because you don't want to come off as if you don't want the perspective out there or the perception that you think you're better than your family. You're better than them because now you've found something online, because that's how they're looking at it. Okay? And no, we're not better than them. It's just they weren't called at this time. It isn't time for them yet. It doesn't mean they won't get it. 828 area code. A Thanksgiving special. The calculating number of the children of God. Know the truth and prepare. Let me get this. 828 area code. Okay, I'm going back to the original call. 501. Then I'm jumping right back in. Shalom.
Hello?
Okay, I'm not going there either. All right, I'm going down the line. 419 area code, 419, last call. I'm going to try to get one more call in, and then I'm jumping back into our Thanksgiving special.
Hello?
Shalom.
Hello?
Shalom, you're live with the Gathering Christ Church.
Can you hear me, sir? Let me take this off speakerphone so I can hear. Look, I'm gonna try to bless y'all tonight. Now look, sir, elder, I'm a 29-year-old male. I'm in Ohio right now. Can you hear me, elder?
I can hear you. Come on, man. We got a show to go through. Come on, talk to me.
I apologize. I'm gonna try to bless y'all tonight. Now look, I know y'all touching on Thanksgiving tonight. And look, my mother, she's very big into you guys following the government. I'm not sure what is GOCC. I'm not sure what the acronyms stand for, but I just so happen to. This is the first time I heard you guys in a while, and I just like to thank y'all for y'all gathering, because y'all give a lot of knowledge. Let me say this with Christianity, how they just dismiss the Old Testament. And they just got the New Testament. Now I can't be a hypocrite. Now I got a New Testament sitting next to my bed, and I would like to see if y'all can send me a Hebrews, like any type of Hebrews Bible that y'all might follow, so I can get a better grasp of what you guys, where you guys are coming from, like in your standpoint and your following. But look, my name is Dominic Ramey. I would just like to say I would like to thank y'all for the knowledge that y'all pass out. And I know I haven't spoke much on Thanksgiving, because not to say that I don't want to acknowledge it, but like y'all teach, we in the last times now. Now even though it's a wicked time, it's still a holy time, so like you just mentioned, because due to the fact that we are having these gatherings like this where we're starting to come back together, and that's what you got to do. Y'all got to keep having y'all gatherings. Y'all got to keep, yes sir, y'all got to keep empowering the people and let the people know about our true roots and stuff. Now, I just want to thank you for having me, and I'm going to go ahead and let you move on to the next one. Hopefully somebody else will come in. Thank you, elder.
Well, thank you, brother. We have your phone number. We're going to send you some information. Let me have your name.
My name is Dominic Ramey, sir. And my mother's name is Latanya Smith. That's my mother. I'm not sure. She might have called in and spoke to y'all on the blog talks, but that's my mother. She's the one that invited me into the GOCC family, sir.
Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. She's doing a great job, and brother,
exactly.
Brother, I'm sure you'll do a great work in time. So we'll call you soon. All right.
Thank you, sir. Now I'll be looking forward to y'all calling. Now give me a call now.
Let me ask you this before you go. You know that our people who were brought here on slave ships, you know that we're the children of God, that we're the people of that Bible, right?
Yes, sir. Can I say something amongst that real quick?
No. I need you to answer the question. That's a yes or a no.
Oh, yeah. No. I believe I'm a child of God. Yes, in every drop of my blood, I know that I'm a child of God.
No, I didn't ask you were you a child of God. I'm asking you, do you know that according to bloodline, the people that were brought over here in cargo slave ships are the children of Israel, that the same blood runs in our veins was in Christ's veins. The same blood,
that's what I was about to tell.
the same blood that ran through the prophets' veins are in our veins. The same blood that ran through the children of Israel, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Do you know that you are a blood child of Israel?
So yes, I do, and I believe that, and like I say, I believe that it has in every sense. Because can I touch on that topic, please, for a second?
Well, I can't let you touch for a second, but I'll tell you what. I can let you touch for 30. I can let you touch for 15 seconds. Go on.
Okay, I'll take my 15 seconds. Now look, do you believe that those same guys are bloodline of Adam and Eve?
The same what?
Do you believe like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are forefathers? Do you believe those same guys were bloodline of Adam and Eve? Can I ask you that quick question?
Oh, you asked. Okay. Are you asking me whether or not Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob came from Adam and Eve? Is that what you're asking?
See, and that's what
No. Hey, brother. Okay, brother. I gotta place you on hold because the reason I gotta place you on hold is because listening is an art, and you can't listen if you're already preparing an answer. It's called conversation.
I apologize for that, sir. You giving me knowledge, and I did. Now look, let me answer your question for you.
No. Hey, brother. Answer the question. We're gonna round it up. Answer it.
Okay. Yes, sir. I do believe that. I'm in the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and all the prophets and stuff. Yes, I do believe that.
Okay, I'm gonna help you out because there's a lot you don't know. Okay. I'm gonna help you out with this.
Okay,
listen, one that ought to be a teacher must learn again, which be the first principles and oracles of the Most High. Okay? When you stand before teachers, brothers, who have paved the way, who's here to help guide you through this, you have to let it all go and assume you know nothing. And I'm going to say, and this is why. Anyone that's going to question whether or not Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob comes from Adam and Eve has a lot to learn. And I'm sure you learned some philosophy some other place, but that's why we have the Hebrew and Bible Academy and thousands of lessons online that can put you on track. But I'm going to help you with what you can do in your private time to come up to speed. Going forward, read the Bible outside of anyone's interpretation and believe the Bible literally as it is written. No concepts, no philosophy, and you'll be on the right track, and we'll meet you there and teach you the rest of the way, all right?
Okay, sir, can I say something?
No, I'm sorry, you can't at this point. No, brother, because what you're trying to... I'm sorry, brother. This is where I fade you into the queue. You have his name?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Lawyer sitting there. Yeah. Put his. You got his name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I had to fade him out. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna talk to you though. We got a lot to discuss. Now, jumping right in. Elder Lawyer, I texted you before you came and I asked, can you bring some tea, right?
Yes.
You went down there dealing with the East Indians at Dunkin' Donuts. You asked them for what type of tea?
Earl Grey.
He asked for Earl Grey because it's morning tea. It has a little kick to it that wakes you up.
Right.
And they gave him chamomile tea. Chamomile does what?
It puts you to sleep.
It puts you to sleep. And you see, I'm about to get this thing stimulated where it's going to wake you right on up. I'm glad I got chamomile tea to some degree.
Right.
Because I'm already upbeat and I'm sometimes the adrenaline moves me.
Right.
Before the thought. And this chamomile tea kind of chilled me out a little bit.
Right.
So it's okay. Now, here we go. Thanksgiving, just in a nutshell, what is Thanksgiving? All right? The history of it. We're going to give you this in a nutshell and jump right in. I'm going to show you why we titled this a certain way. Why we titled this the calculating of the number of the children of God. Because before they could kill the North American Indians in America, they had to first frequent amongst them. And then after they would frequent amongst them, they would begin to number them. Right? Now they're becoming familiar with the comings and goings and the culture of the North American Indians and all that. They understand who the chiefs are, who's the voice, what's the greatest influence. They're actually taking a military reconnaissance on the lay of the land to one day come in and bring in the Roman army, the conquistadors, the Spanish and all that, to kill off the North American Indians and to steal their land as it was prophesied, right? Now, the reason why we don't blame white people or other people for this is because God prophesied it would happen to us for disobeying God's law. The 10 tribes in 721 BC left the Northern Kingdom. They came over into the Americas eventually, into a land, a new land where never mankind dwelt. And eventually they began to sacrifice and do all types of evils in the new land. And the Most High, like he says in the book of Deuteronomy 28, sent a fierce nation with a fierce continent against the Indians, as quick as the eagle flieth. Well, the eagle represents Rome, and Rome is Edom. Okay? Now, so I'm not blaming white people for this. It was our disobedience, not following God's law, which led to such a pass. But still, we have to teach the history of this, because if we begin to follow God's law, the Most High will then turn the curse on the nations who have always and who now plan to destroy us. Now the heavens and the angels will work in our turn, and the curses fall on them. See, now you see why we teach follow the law, follow the law, follow the law. Because the Most High has a heat-seeking, destructive spirit against sin. That's how it works. Wherever sin is, the Most High is looking to destroy it and to bound it into the depths of hell. If we begin to keep the law, by default, the Gentiles are still running around here acting a fool. The Most High will aim now the curses towards their foolishness and begin to what? Bring again Jacob. Bring Jacob out of captivity and give us some ease from our enemies. That's how it works, brothers and sisters. Right? So, on your screen, here's the true bloody story behind the origins of Thanksgiving in America. Read that, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. The website, it says, here's the true and bloody story behind the origins of Thanksgiving. I'm not sure what the website is.
The website is Culture, right here.
Okay, Culture
Collectiva. CultureCollectiva.com. And, you know, there's a, right here, the author of this particular piece is Oliver G. Oliver, a writer for this particular site, who's just going to give you some back history on Thanksgiving.
This holiday does not have as friendly a history as many people believe. Quite the contrary, the dark history of Thanksgiving is surrounded by tales of blood, brutality, and slaughter. We all know that Thanksgiving is an American holiday meant to celebrate and be grateful for our blessings and friendship of others. What many ignore, however, is that behind this seemingly joyous occasion lies a dark story of conflict, blood, and genocide. The origins of Thanksgiving, like with most other traditional festivities, are rooted in old pagan rites. The holiday has its earliest source in ancient customs found throughout the globe that allocated a day of giving thanks for a successful harvest, and the fortunes or blessings of the previous year. More specifically, however, it is often said that the current American tradition of Thanksgiving dates back to the establishment of the Plymouth colony in what today is Massachusetts in 1620.
Come on, let's go.
So, problems with the official story. Most schools teach that Thanksgiving was born when some English religious dissenters, the Pilgrims,
go ahead,
were struggling to settle in Plymouth and were warmly received by friendly local Native Americans from the Wampanoag tribe, who taught them how to survive in the New World. To celebrate their success and to honor each other, everyone got together and threw an affectionate feast in which the Pilgrims showed their gratitude. That sounds like a lovely story.
Sound like a lovely story to me. That's the one they gave me in the first grade, along with, on Sunday, the Virgin Mary. But go on.
But it falls way short of showing the whole picture. As we mentioned before, celebrations meant to give thanks for the harvesting season, which mostly fall around the same dates, were plentiful and very much before the Pilgrim story. And it's hard to pinpoint a single event as the actual birth of the contemporary version of the holiday. Other settlers in Virginia celebrated their arrival with an annual Thanksgiving Day since 1619. For example, decades before, some Spanish settlers in the colonies got together yearly with the Seloy tribe for a friendly feast. Yet others believe Thanksgiving truly began when in 1637, Massachusetts colony governor John Winthrop declared a day to give thanks for the fact that colonial soldiers had recently slaughtered over 700 members of the Pequot tribe, including women and children in Connecticut.
This is the true origin of Thanksgiving, the destruction of the Pequot tribe, 700 men, women, and children. And that's why usually, I don't know if they continue to do this, but at one time on Thanksgiving, they would make sure that the Cowboys would play every Thanksgiving. The Cowboys. They would also at one time, it was just blatant out there at one point to the degree in which they had to change up the roster. It used to be almost ceremonial to the degree in which, let me put that away, to the degree in which, brothers and sisters, that every Thanksgiving you would have the Cowboys and the Redskins. Now, they would call the North American Indians Redskins or Indians as savages to demonize them. Okay, to their home lands in England and other places in Europe, there were the news articles were totally demonizing the Indians who have helped them to some degree colonize in America. But over in Europe, they were calling them Indians, savages, cannibals, and all that, so that they can paint a narrative that would lead to armies coming over to destroy the wicked and evil red people. Eventually, they destroyed 700 men, women, and children on Thanksgiving, and then eventually made it what? An annual celebration in honor of Satan, or the god Pan, who have actually, as they claim, blessed them bountifully with a harvest, or America. So that's what the authoritative powers, the Masonic powers, the high Christian powers, that's the day they're really celebrating. Okay, with the turkey being what? The headless Indian, in which they would stuff the head with stuffing and play it and kick it around like football. So they would have an annual celebration football on that particular day. The stuffing would represent, you know, the entrails of a person. And of course, you got to have your ceremonial cranberry sauce. That represents the blood of of the Indians. The Masonic powers that rule are very symbolic, okay, in their esoteric, cultish behaviors when it comes to these celebrations. Now, the majority of people don't, I mean, I rarely seen some, you know, anything red or blood dripping off my plate growing up. I mean, you go to some of these houses, you go into the suburbs, and they take a whole can of this and slice some cranberry and just put it there.
Right.
I'm like, man, y'all need to come over to my house. I don't know what type of dinner is this. I mean, I'm growing up like there ain't no Thanksgiving. You know, when I started doing music and through travel getting access to other cultures, I realized I'm like, man, we not having the same Thanksgiving everyone else is having. Where's your mac and cheese, collard greens, yams? I'm like, what is this? Y'all just got a turkey with no seasons on it, and some cranberry sauce, and you got stovetop stuffing with no. I'm like, y'all not having no Thanksgiving up in here. This is. I don't know. I can't give no. I'm out of here. But anyway, all I'm saying, brothers and sisters, is that's why that particular plate have become a mainstay within the culture itself, because the hierarchy understands what that represents. It's the death of I'm not going to call them Indians because that word means savage. That was a word that the European Romans used to demonize us abroad. These were the children of Israel. They were conquering and killing in an American Holocaust. Okay? This is how America was founded, folks. This is how it was founded. And I'm not bringing this out to anger you. You have to understand that the majority of these days come with sacrifices, bloody sacrifices, and usually the sacrifice are our people first. So before the turkey, it was our people, the North American Indians. Before the turkey, it was the black tribe of Judah being pulled out of the ships, families being separated, sold all over the place. We were the sacrifice before your plates. Okay? And you must understand that. And this is what we have to, eventually get our brothers and sisters to understand through time. Because when you begin to understand what it is, then who want to associate themselves with something as heinous as genocide, right? But it's how you do it, brothers. It's how you teach it. It's how you transition our brothers and sisters from Satan's table. Now, why am I going here? I'm going here because once they number you, they plan to destroy you. That's why the Most High gave David a law that you're not supposed to number the children of Israel. Read that real quick. Let's get that. You write it down here. Just trying to get this little cold out of my chest and I'll be good. I'm 90% good. Y'all don't got to worry about me. I'm straight. I have this for health.
All right, this is 1 Chronicles chapter 21, verse 1. And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel.
And provoked David to number Israel. So Satan sprung up to provoke David to number Israel. Right? So you notice that Satan's plan is to number us from one society to the next, understanding that our people will become their judges. We will become the judges of the earth, not just these peons who are executing Satan's program. But Paul says that we will judge angels. We will judge the fallen ones who cause mankind to sin. In the book of Isaiah, it tells us that we would narrowly look upon him and say, is this the man that weakened the nations? Speaking of Satan, that worm. The first thing he do is he sent in his nations who reveres him as a God, who upholds him as the sun God. And he tells them, well, listen, these are caring people. They're very, what you would call forgiving people. Just give them a few blankets, do this, that, and the other. They'll help you out because they're just loving and caring people. And once you get the lay of the land and number them appropriately, I'm going to give you the plan to kill them off. It's a dark, dark, dark objective and plan. Why? Because they understand, according to prophecy, that the children of Israel are the next leaders of this earth. Every other nation had an opportunity to rule but us. We never had our opportunity. All the four beasts or the other nations have already ruled. Babylonian Syrian Empire ruled. Persian Medo Empire ruled. Persian Medo Empire ruled. Greeks ruled. Romans ruled. Who's the only people that haven't ruled yet? Us. And they know that the Most High is equitable in judgment. So if there's one child of Israel still left in this earth, guess what, folks? Eventually, the seed that would come through that child would fulfill the prophecies of our people standing in total righteousness as the judges over this earth. America is their last empire, and they know the gig's up, and they understand now. There's no stopping it. Our people are waking up everywhere, and they're looking to do the same thing, which is number the children of Israel before engagement. During the time of the Persian Empire, there was an Edomite by the name of Haman the Agagite. You all know the story in the book of Esther. The first thing he said was, these people celebrate different than you. They don't respect the gods or the pagan gods. They deal with their own fashion outside of us. Let me number them and I'll pay assassins to kill them. And this Edomite paid assassins all over the province of Iran to kill us off. Satan does the same plan from one cycle to the next. So when they came to the Americas, they numbered the North American Indians, then killed them. Right? When we started to begin to reprocreate and have our own resources along with our own monetary resource, our own Wall Street, when we began to thrive as a people beyond their eugenics control, they went and burned the cities, gave us civil rights, and did what? Set in a eugenics plan through Planned Parenthood to do what? To keep our number down, to kill us off, and integrated us into schools that would program us, social engineer us to go backward, away from the prophecies concerning what? Judges, a righteous people, a lawful people. See? So when our numbers begin to peak, they send out their assassins. Okay? And their assassins always present themselves as a helpful organization. Planned Parenthood. I'm going to drop something on y'all, folks. The Masonic powers that control our neighborhoods. The divisive organizations, NAACP, Nation of Islam, this or that, all these divisive mechanisms, the Christian church, all of this, these organizations have divided God's people as a way of population control. And they're doing it now. Folks, they're scared out of their boots, not of us, of our God, and what happens once we as a people begin to come back to him. They're scared. And we've found the census of them numbering us. They did a numbering of the African Americans in the mind, or what you would call the sentiments and the thoughts of the African Americans. April of 2019, they began a census to number us, and I'm going to show you it. Why? Because it's Judah that's waking everyone up. We have a church in Puerto Rico, and guess what? They're doing it, all in Spanish. We have brothers overseas translating our teachings into French. All over the earth, folks. We have brothers in Africa, sisters in Africa, waiting for us to come there. They're teaching what we're teaching in their own language. Their focus is Judah. They're trying to demonize or try to put some negative connotation on what an Israelite is. Because they demonize before they destroy. But they must first number. I'm going to show y'all some numbers, folks. Let me pull it up. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Here we go. Here we go. Finally. Elder Lawyer, let me pull it up here so you can have it also. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me pull it. So because I want Elder Lawyer to read it. Right? Let's do it like this. This is the quick way of doing it. And of course, we're going to have Gaja chime in. And what does this mean for all of us? May have to do a little overtime to discuss that, right? I just pop it up right there. What is on your screen, you might ask? Read that, Elder Lawyer.
It says African-American attitudes toward Israel.
African-American attitudes towards Israel. Now, why do they care about African-American attitudes, brothers and sisters, towards the state of Israel? Why? All I hear on news is communist China, Russia, the threats of terrorism from Saudi Arabia. Why there's no list? Why there's no survey on the Chinese attitudes towards the state of Israel or Russia's attitude towards the state of Israel? Mm-hmm. Why are they targeting African Americans with this survey? I'm going to show you why. And it's sponsored by the Philos Project. And look at the bottom, Lifeway Research. It's a Christian bank, a Catholic bank, a Christian bank have been numbering our people in the church for a reason. Now, I need you all to check this out. Let me tell you something, folks. The Most High, matter of fact, let me show you. I've been telling Lawyer what I said for a long time. I said they're tallying what's going on with this awakening. And the reason how they're able to understand its impact is by the money they're losing in the churches now. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know the depths of what I was saying back then until I seen this particular survey. Elder Lawyer, here's the methodology. I need you to read the bullet points here on the methodology. Right here. You got it? You lost it? Oh, here it is here. I need you to read the bullet points, Elder Lawyer, on the methodology.
Yes, sir. It says methodology. The online survey of 1,019 Americans was conducted March 22nd to April 2nd, 2019.
They took this survey this April, folks. Now, even though you see 1,119 Americans, right? They made sure they took an example of a demographic within the United States. Almost 1,100 different demographics. One would represent a few thousands of people who would think the same way. So this is how they can get a bead on the attitudes or whether or not their social engineering is actually working on us. By now surveying and getting opinions from those within our neighborhoods. or different walks of life. What's the next one? Come on.
It says the project was sponsored by the Philos Project.
So I wonder that our brothers and sisters in church know that they're being looked at and surveyed through a Philo project sponsored by the Romans or the Zionists. Now you see why they're looking to censor YouTube, folks? It's the Christian church that's going to be used to number our people and usher them into their own demise. They're numbering them for a reason. I'm going to show you this. Read it.
Respondents were invited to participate from a large national panel.
Come on.
Respondents were screened to only include self-identified Black or African Americans.
Hold up. Respondents were screened to only include what?
Self-identified Black or African Americans.
Hold on. I got to pull this up here. Grab it again for me, Elder Lawyer. Go ahead, read it. Hold on. That's it right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, read it. Go ahead.
It says respondents were screened to only include self-identified Black or African Americans.
Self-identified Black or African Americans. They're watching every one of Black Americans in America right now. Why? Why? You think Israelites are the threat? No. Christ was an Israelite. The disciples were Israelites, and they were martyred for truth. We're showing you who the threat is. The Christian church are surveying all Black people in America right now because the truth is coming from Judah, like the Bible prophesied. In the same land that it was said, ye are not my people, there it shall be told to them, ye are the sons of the living God. Come on.
It says respondents were screened to only include self-identified Black or African Americans.
Come on.
Who were born in the U.S.
Who were born in the United States. Read.
Maximum quotas and slight weights were used for gender, region, age, education, and religious group to more accurately reflect the African American population using statistics published by Pew Research and the Census Bureau.
And the Census Bureau, when they're coming around, answering the census. Not just that, when Jehovah's Witnesses knock on your door, they're tallying how many people in your house. It goes into a database and it goes into the census. Okay? When the Mormons come around and they're in your house, all that data is put in a database to number you in your neighborhoods. Come on.
The completed sample is 1,019 surveys.
Come on.
The sample provides 95% confidence that the sampling error does not exceed plus 3.6%. Margins of error are higher in subgroups.
In subgroups. Now, I'm going to be talking about this during the news segment of this academy because I can't break down the whole thing tonight. But there's some key points I'm going to bring out this evening. On page 52. Go to page 52 right there, Elder Lawyer. Go to page 52 there. Now, the numbering. Which one? What page is that?
It's 52. Let me see here.
No, the one that shows the numbering of the Christians.
Oh, yeah, that's 52.
You sure? No, because this is supports Israel right here.
Right, but that's page 17.
Huh?
That's page 17.
You're right. Hold on. Let me get it here.
Go to page.
Oh, here it is.
If you go to the top where it says go.
Go where?
Up in that top bar.
Over here?
Up higher. Where it says preview.
Yeah.
To the left. And you'll see it says go.
Yeah.
Yep. And then go to page. right under the next side. Yep. Let's just type in the page.
Oh, for water, lawyer.
Yep.
52. Check this out, brothers and sisters. Tell me this is not going to blow you away. I gotta make sure they see this. I have to make sure they see this.
Hey, Elder, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Man, you know what? Just
Hold up before you go there. I gotta say this. I gotta say this real quick, Gaja.
go ahead.
The largest ethnic group. They took a tally, folks, of the whole United States and who attend church. The largest ethnic group of church attended by participants in the United States amongst those who attend a Christian church several times a year or more. Look at this. 71% are blacks. Only 7% of churchgoers are white. Only 1% are Asian, and only 1% is Hispanic, and only, it says 19% there is majority group church is multi-ethnic, and 2% not sure. But I need y'all to see this. Amongst those who go to church, it's our people, 71%. Which says what? If we walk away from the churches in America, there will be no church here. They have put a systematic pagan program in place to keep us still, realizing we're the vast majority. We can run the whole thing, and they understand this. So, if 71% of churchgoers are black people, and they're making an average of $85 billion a year in America from churches. When you break that down 70%, this is how much money they're ciphering out of our community to pay for Planned Parenthood and other systematic depopulation programs that divide or destroy us. You didn't know that all that money was even amongst us, did you? They did. They're ciphering through Christianity. This is why they're aimed towards, they're sending apologetics, and they have a serious campaign of stopping the Israelite teachings. Because if the black people don't go to church, there is no church. There is no T.D. Jakes. There's no Creflo Dollar. There's no Kenneth Copeland, and there is no white gatekeepers controlling us going forward. Huh? So they have this number and realize the number is shrinking. Another metric. Give me another page, Elder Lawyer.
Page 35.
Let's go to page 35 real quick. It says 28% agree that they're seeing more black people express anti-Semitism than in the past. Why are they charting how we feel about Jewish people in the Christian hierarchy? I thought it didn't matter who Israel was. I thought we were all one in Jesus. Why? 28% agree that they are seeing more black people express anti-Semitism than in the past. Look at this. Right? Strongly agree, somewhat agree, somewhat disagree. Strongly disagree. So look at these numbers. 16 disagree. 26 disagree, and 30% not sure. They are afraid of this 30% right here that's being influenced by boots on the ground. Israelites teaching our people that we are not from the seed of Ham, that we're not just some regular old Gentile people who need a white Jesus to save us, that we're the true judges and teachers of the earth. We are the children of God, and we are anointed with the Spirit of Christ to deliver the children of Israel from exile. See? Look at this here. They've been watching you the whole time. And the churches are keeping these tallies. Look at this. It says 41% agree that the formation of modern Israel is a fulfillment of God's covenant with the Jewish people. But look, out of our people, you have 21% that disagree and the 38% that's not sure. That means the churches are not doing enough job making our people believe that those people are in Israel are the true Jews. And it also proves that the Christian church's agenda is to make sure that we believe they are the true people of God. Look at this. So on either end of the spectrum, they're not talking about Arabs. They're not talking about any other people. But it's us on one end and the Israelis on the other end. Right? Give me another page on black Israelites.
Page 30.
I need y'all to check this out, folks. This is going to trip y'all out. Page 30. 19% agree with anti-Semitic statement that Jewish people are blocking black progress in the United States. So a lot of our people now have come to the conclusion that Jewish people have been blocking us the whole time. Check that out. And 23% not sure. But you have 7% who strongly agree that Jewish people have been blocking us. 12, this is 20% right here. And then there's another 23% believe that they have been blocking us the whole time, which means that number is going to grow as the truth come out that we're the true Jews. This is why they've been targeting Israelites and demonizing Israelites and coming out with stories like the Joy Morgan story, as if they didn't find a girl dead in front of the castle, the English castle in England a few years ago. They found girls' bodies dead near the castle of England, but no one is saying surviving, you know, the Catholic girl who's getting killed and maimed and sacrificed under that religion. No one is blaming what's going on with the children that are being molested and all these other religions and all that being killed. They're demonizing and running these stories as if death comes with those who actually follow the truth of who they are. Right? The one on Israelites, you got that one? I think I can find it here. Don't worry about it. One moment. It's one in particular that I'm going to bring you in, Gadra. Because they're planning another Thanksgiving. And the proof is, we have proof now that they're numbering and watching our people and using the church metrics to measure this awakening. Look at what we have here. Looky what we have here. Why are the Christians, why are they looking at Israelites on a Christian metric? 62% are not familiar with the black Hebrew Israelite teaching. So on one end, they want to know, how do we feel about the people who claiming to be us, Israel? Then they want to know, well, how do they feel about Israelites actually being black people? Why? Why do they care? Because the Most High is awakening his people, and he's using us in America to do it. It says right here, 62% are not familiar with Black Hebrew Israelite teachings. But check this out. You have 4% who would say, I consider myself. So out of the people they tallied, 4% said that they were Israelites. Another 19% says, I agree with most of the core ideas taught by Hebrew Israelites. That's 25% of the American population who have been affected. And mind you, have been affected by this. And mind you, we don't have media. We don't own no media stations. We don't control the narrative when it comes to mainstream. We don't have movie productions, nothing. But automatically, already 25% of Americans' Black population believe that they're the children of Israel. Right? And check this out. Another one say, I disagree with most of the core ideas taught by the Black Hebrew Israelites. But what does this tell us? That even the 9% know about the Israelites and they were told they were Israelites. And another 6%, I firmly oppose the teachings of Black Hebrew Israelites. But you oppose Israelites, but guess what? You know about Israelites. So almost half of the population, the country of America who's Black, know about Israelites, while the numbers in the Christian church are declining. What numbers? The number of Black people, because we're the only people that's actually going to church anyway. And that's why they're targeting Israelites right now. Do you see this? Do you see this? And of course, I have to put the link to this information in your chat because you have others going into this information, but they will skip over that number of the fact that the majority of people that go to church are us. So if they're us, why is Kenneth Copeland running T.D. Jakes? How is he over T.D. Jakes? How is there any Zionist or Jewish person or some theologian? Why are we going to them to learn about Christ when we're the majority of churchgoers? Why are we going to them for a teaching certificate? Huh? When their race don't even go to church. Get out of our space, okay? We see you. You've been ciphering money out of our communities to be used to depopulate us. And we're talking about economic inclusion. If there's $85 billion coming out of our pockets in America each year into these churches, what can we do with that if we unite it together under the Most High with God's law and teach our people throughout the earth? This is what they feared, folks. And guess what? Gaja.
Hey, up here.
Hey, brother, they didn't know that we was going to get our hands on this information, right?
Check it out.
Hold on. Let me bring you in. Let me bring you in, brother.
Tell me where to go.
Hey, I'm about to let you loose. Don't worry about it. Cut loose.
All right. Now, when you look at this study done, and you look at this Philo group. This Philo group is actually a Christian ministry, right?
Yeah.
Now check this out. When you go onto their website, right, and you look at the mission and purpose. Yo, let me read something off of their website. All right.
So this is their mission purpose. Let me cut you up so that they can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Check this out. It says one. Let me go to one of them here. It says, what kind of Christianity does Philo espouse? It says Philo is a non-sectarian organization whose board, staff, and members belong to various Christian churches and hold to the various schools of theology, interpretation within the realm of the Nicene Orthodoxy.
Oh, so they are. Oh, this is deep. So these are they who are in conjunction or in in what the fraternity of the Nicene Creed.
Yes, sir. This is what we're dealing with right now.
Now, the Nicene Creed are those that integrated paganism with what we call the modern day Christianity.
Exactly.
Go on. No, go on.
Yo, now check this out. Now, when you jump, they give you all the political views and all that, but I'm just getting out some of the key points in here that struck me as I'm going through this website. It says, what is your position on the state of Israel? Now check this out. We're dealing with a Christian group here, right? Listen to this. We believe that the Jewish nation is an indigenous nation of the Middle East with a right to live in its ancient homeland. We believe the state of Israel is a legitimate expression of Jewish nationhood. We also believe that Israel has the right to defend itself, as well as its obligation to protect the citizens regardless of race, creed, or color. Now, why this popped out to me here, right, is that I was under the impression that Jewish people, no offense to anybody, don't believe in Christ.
That's what I thought.
So why is a Christian organization upholding quote unquote antichrist?
Exactly. So I don't know if they heard you clearly, but I am going to. You with me, Gadra?
I'm here.
I have to state this again. Hold on. I think I made a mistake and went off. Hold on. I got to get back on Blog Talk. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah, I'm here.
One second.
I'm sorry, but I did not hear you press at least 4 digits of your PIN number.
1 second. Blog Talk went off. One moment.
I'm sorry, but I did not. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Oh wow, what's that?
No, come on. Hold up. I gotta get back in. 1 moment.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Okay, we've been reconnected. Go ahead, Elder Gadra.
Yeah, so I'm a bit perplexed as to, what's the real purpose here? Well, obviously,
Yeah, but the point you were making is, here it is, you have a religion that outright denied Christ. It's an antichrist state and an antichrist religion. Judaism, the religion of Judaism rejects Christ as the Messiah. So why is the Christian Nicene Creed working fervently to have what you would call a campaign within the Christian church to have our people empathize for an antichrist state?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense.
And this is the thing.
One other thing, I'm gonna let you in. And if they're going to state that they're for Israel, and the history shows that we are the people, why aren't they showing the same empathy and backing of our people within the Christian church? Think about it. If 70% of the churchgoers are our people anyway, why would you teach that these other people, these antichrists, why are you trying to convince us that they're the people? And these people are actually on record against Christ. But go on. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. I mean, these are the same sentiments I'm echoing right now. Is that why? But you look at the stats. It's 70%, as you said, of the children of Israel are supporting the churches. Yeah. And that's where the finance coming from, going back into it, you know, when they're driving the campaigns of support Israel. So you need our people right now, and you know, your interest is in why you are doing a poll or a census as to what's the sentiments towards Israel. Why? Because this is the cash cow. Black people have been supporting these people since slavery.
We've been supporting them. Yes.
Since slavery.
Yes.
When at the abolition of slavery, not coming off of the beaten path, just giving people some history to go out and check out. At the abolition of slavery, the slave masters were compensated. Okay? They got paid. And still getting paid.
Yep.
You with me? And every kingdom that since Nebuchadnezzar, the Persian and the Medes, the Greeks, right into the Romans, was built off of the blood, sweat, tears, and exploitation of our people.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And check this now. This farce known as Christianity that our people are part of in has been a cash cow. Has been a backbone for these corruption. Okay? And that is why they're so interested in knowing what is the African American sentiment towards them. That's why they're so interested. And is our media working? It's not. You know why? Israelites awaken.
Yeah.
Yo, hey, when you go through downtown Canada, right? There's an Israelite on every corner for about 3 miles. Yeah? Go through downtown Toronto on a Sabbath day. There's an Israelite on every corner for about 3 miles. From white to purple to an apron, yo, to the Star of Moloch, you name it, is an Israelite on the corner. Now, whilst I don't agree with doctrinal issues, with doctrinal sentiments, if there's one thing we do agree on, we are the people.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's a problem right now. Israelites out there is a problem, and that's why you see, the Jesuits, you understand me, and the minions coming out in attack against Israelites, because nothing else, right, has ever galvanized God's people and pulled them out of the Christian church. The Egyptologists can't do it. The Afrocentricity can't do it. Rastafarianism couldn't do it. But here comes something that's actually working right now. And that's the problem.
And this is what I want to point out too. You notice how when these conversations come up, even in this survey, it talks about the civil rights movement, how you had Jewish people walking and locking arms with blacks, Martin Luther King and all that during the civil rights movement. But now we understand that it was in the interest of their people. Mm-hmm. It wasn't in the interest of our people. How do you know this? Look how far we've fallen since that time we've locked arms. And look how much power they have obtained. Mm-hmm. So it was, there's an old saying. It's not a Bible saying, but it's wisdom nonetheless. Right? Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. Mm-hmm. And that's what Edom or Rome lives by. The Bible tells you that Judah would be in the neck of their enemy. The neck is close to the head. So they locked arms with us and was watching us the whole time in fear of what they're witnessing now. Our people no longer sympathizing with any others outside of what's going on, with our people first. Not that we don't care, but we don't have no time to be crying over what happened to some people over in Europe and over there when our people are suffering right here in our neighborhoods.
Every day.
Every day. We're putting our brothers and sisters, our family, our mothers down. We can't even care for our old. We can't even bury our aged. We have to cremate because we can't even afford to give our family an honorable burial. But yet they own the funeral homes. They own the cemeteries. They own the banks. They own everything. But yet they want us to sympathize. And they're using the church and the forgiven doctrine and the Christ doctrine without giving levity to that. At the same time, you're upholding the people who have always had their foot on your neck. Edom, Romans. And now they know that we know they are numbering with the census. Because the next level is engagement. They demonize, then they destroy. Because it's not just us knowing this. You think P. Diddy and all these other guys, let me tell you, Gaja, this is going to blow you away. And I'm going to let you back in, Gaja.
Tell me.
A sister in our church from our church, right, in Atlanta, right before our program, right after our program last Wednesday, Elder Lawyer came to me and said, we have a sister where her brother is being held hostage almost in Mexico, and his hospital bills can't get paid, and she wants us to set up a collection and to help him pay for his medical bills. He went on some type of cruise and got sick in Mexico and was being held in the hospital. They wouldn't let him out of the hospital. They locked the doors. And he says, we have to raise money to get him out. Right? And I said, well, listen, before we make a public campaign, let's get with the elders, send out an email and set up an offering throughout all of our churches so we can gather the money to get the brother out of Mexico, right? The next day, wouldn't you know, Elder Lawyer say, Elder, you wouldn't believe this? That it's on the news. The sister called me that it's on the news. And the news station is going to help him get out of Mexico. And then it became news, almost national news. And guess who paid for him to come back to the United States? Gaja. Tyler Perry paid for him. It was a sister's brother in our church that we were about to raise money, and Tyler Perry paid for him to get back to the States. So what is this saying, folks? What this is saying, folks, is they know that it's not just people in the ghettos coming to the knowledge that we're Israelites. It's P. Diddy. I mean, guess what? It's Jay-Z too. They just can't outright say it. But they're on YouTube also. That's why they're trying to demonize Israelites and call it a hate group and a cult to get you off of anything public, because it's affecting all those they were using as gatekeepers. And it's not us. It's not us, folks. It's our God. It's our God freeing us. We're being freed right up under their noses, folks. And if they lose our support, they lose everything. Because there is no church if 71% of the churchgoers are our people in America. But go ahead, Gaja.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my train of thought, but it goes to show that there is an eye on us.
Yeah.
Even just out there, just there's a close watch when an Israelite. Oh yes, and like you said, this was as what I said before. When you look at what happened in 70 AD and what happened 10 years prior.
Yeah.
How the rising of Israel under the Messiah, what they were calling Christians, were rising. They had to do something about it. Nero go, yo, listen, yo, we need to kill these people. But how we going to generate some public sympathy now whilst we do it? Let's blame them for something. And it's the same smear campaign.
Yep.
Let's call them terrorists. Let's call them extremists. Let's call them weird. So that when they start to engage us now, it's gathering public, you know, people like, yeah, or them crazy ones. Oh, yeah, man. You know, they actually deserve it. It's the same thing. It's the same tactic. There's nothing under the sun.
Yeah. They're demonizing the awakening. And that's why I was saying for years, brothers, it doesn't matter how we would teach, brothers used to teach before. In the 90s, hey man, I don't think anyone out there were more hardcore than we were in the 90s. Okay, I'm going to tell you, even though it's some nonsense going out with people talking about they can rape people at the age of 12 and all that. I mean, don't try to associate that with being an Israelite. Okay, that don't got nothing to do with God's awakening. Putting that out there right now, okay? But anyway, we went hard in the 90s. Okay, I mean, I learned this in the early 90s that I was an Israelite, okay? But you have to realize Christ says he sent us out as sheep among wolves, be wise as serpents and harmless as a dove. You can't go out like that anymore with this level of recognition, because back then it was just dismissive. There was no threat. The Christian church seemed no threat from a few guys teaching on the street. Why? Because they were at the height of a new stick. The prosperity movement galvanized a whole new movement, and this so-called power speaking that was going on. This new age speaking energized a purpose-driven life and the purpose and all this other stuff. They were galvanizing, growing in numbers to make their antichrist New World Church with these mega churches. So at that time, they weren't really paying attention to Israelites. Okay? They weren't paying, they didn't care. They were just dismissing. But right now that we've seen that our people haven't benefited at all from the prosperity movement, a matter of fact, they use the prosperity movement to cipher any monetary value we had left out of our communities into the Jesuits' coffers, into the Zionist coffers. Now our people are saying, listen, we backed Obama, got nothing. We backed the prosperity movement in these churches, and we're suffering. We're done. Matter of fact, we seen these guys teaching on the corner saying that we're the children of God and that the kingdom is coming, and we're actually getting something outside of some bogus prosperity promise. We might as well try that. And not only that, they're not just trying it, they're realizing it. They're realizing that it bear witness to their spirit, that they always knew that there was more than what the churches and the educational systems were telling them. I'm going to tell you, that's why they're numbering us now. And guess what? There's more on this survey. The metrics are eye-popping of how many of our people that are being affected outside of us, people we don't even know. And I told Lawyer this the other day. I was like, listen, I don't know. I think I was speaking to Lawyer about this. Or it may have been you, Gotcha. It was you, Gotcha. Yeah. Right? I was saying that you have to realize we have numerous of people within our congregations that come to Sabbath, that are growing with this regularly. You really have to understand that those that gather with us are the minority of those who believe what we believe. Who just haven't came out and gathered with us yet. 515-605-9327. 515-605-9327. Call in, because only 60 seconds before overtime, and you will not be able to bring your 2 cents if you're not in within 60 seconds.
I mean, when you look at it, you know, in radio, we used to have the statistics in radio saying that for every text that we had received in there's about 100 silent listeners
Yes.
represented for one text. That's
Yes.
kind of like how they work it out.
Yes.
You with me? So never mind YouTube. That's visual. You with me? And you know, a lot of the times we in class teaching and people come through and go, hey, listen, you know, I've been following the church for the past 4 years. You with me? You know, I've seen all the broadcasts you've done, and you're like, oh yeah, for real, and you know, in Manchester right now, people still coming into the Manchester congregation from the broadcast that we did almost 10 years ago. So, you know, I believe that. I know that there's people out there. So, the majority of people learning from the church, really.
Guys, the majority of the people that are following this church, the majority of people who understand what we know are not even in the church, haven't even gathered with us yet.
100%.
Haven't even gathered with us yet. And I'm talking about a vast majority. I would say probably 100 to 200 times of what we see in between our four walls or more are actually following this church.
Easily. I tell you what, Ella, if they were censoring a lot of what we're doing, i.e. the channel and so on.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it would even reflect more on the numbers. I mean, look at this. A few weeks ago, right? We had upwards of 1,800 people on the broadcast. You with me?
Hold up,
guys,
and keep talking because someone said I can take a tablespoon of olive oil and kill this cough. So it's about to go down. Go ahead, finish speaking.
Yes, sir.
Where that olive oil? Is some up there?
Should be. You can check the picture.
All right, go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm saying if you look at the numbers even on the broadcast goes up every week. So sometimes we get onto the system and we see the numbers are low. People are, you know, they're taking away subscription. You there with me, Lloyd?
Right, I'm with you.
Yeah, they're taking away the subscription. They're taking away. They're actually trying to censor the channel. If we would see a lot more reflected on it in terms of the numbers like that. But 100%, I 100% believe that the majority of the people who learn from under the church and believe that what we believe are still not yet gathered with us. And it goes the same within these stats. That's how they can take the stats and say, okay, then this what we're taking right now, they can engage what the majority is thinking, what the majority is doing. Because they understand that, okay, you know, for every one person that we interview, this person represents 100 within this demographic, or 1,000 within this demographic. So it's there, it's real, you know.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Lloyd.
Absolutely. If I want to read the scripture again that I read earlier, just to show the magnitude of where this work is going. And as we've been mentioning, this ministry and this work is well beyond what we could even fathom. Well beyond just the four walls in which we gather in our different locations, which at this point, I mean, the work has grown, you know, well beyond anything that we could have imagined from the beginning.
I can't say that this is my work.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm just working in the vineyard.
Exactly.
This is the Most High's work. I mean, I didn't imagine any of this.
Exactly.
But go on.
Exactly. But this is just the beginning. And that goes back to what we were mentioning earlier. Different initiatives, music, and just different avenues to really pull in those people that are still on the outskirts, still on the outside, just waiting for that opportunity or that moment to come into the fold. But I want to read this again, 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9, where it says, "For I think that God hath set forth us the apostles last, as it were appointed to death, for we are made a spectacle." Now that word spectacle in the Greek is connected with the word theater, okay? Meaning that we're being watched on a high level, okay? It says here, unto the world and to the angels and to men. So not only is the world watching, the heavenly forces are watching. The angels are watching the growth of this work, the growth of this ministry, the growth of the nation of Israel throughout the four corners of the earth. Even those, as we were mentioning, those who may not be of the same doctrine, of the same fold, but have the understanding that they are the children of Israel that the Bible speaks of, not just according to us reading a few scriptures, but also history, also archaeology, also bibliography. All the information points to the fact that these people are in fact the children of Israel. And the Bible is making it plain that the world is watching. This is not a conspiracy. This is not us just, speaking highly of ourselves and putting ourselves in the light that, we feel like we're just, just these,
Hey, Elder Lawyer, man, you just said a while ago, just in history and archaeology. Just I was just in a discussion earlier this evening that one of the next history time broadcasts that we're gonna do, and as you know, we're traveling right now. We're gonna actually go to a site where giants been discovered and bones, and we're gonna bring it live and show people and that, yo, listen, the Bible real, and what we're bringing from the Bible, we can even show you through archaeology. That's what we're saying. It's real.
Absolutely.
The Bible says faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of the unseen. So we're bringing in the substance, the evidence. You understand? And let me jump to another precept here real quick, just to add. And this is a precept, whenever I see these things happening, I always this precept always comes to mind from the book of Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 8th verse. And it reads, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt." So we know what went on in Sodom. The homosexuality. It's spiritually. We see a place right now that's embracing our system, taking on this homosexual agenda and trying to normalize it. The Bible says, which is called spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. What went on in Egypt? We were made to serve. We serve hard bondage in Egypt. Okay, Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. All right. When you look at the trees that they hung the Messiah on, and how they hung our ancestors on, and all of that. Hey, verse 9. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. Why? Because these people aren't dead in the physical. It's talking about the spirit, a spiritual death going on with them right now. They don't know who they are. I'm a Jamaican. I'm an African American. I'm a Bajan. I'm a Trinidadian. But now we're changing that. What are you? I'm an Israelite of the tribe of Benjamin, of the tribe of Judah, of the tribe of Gad, of the tribe of Manasseh, of the tribe of Ephraim, of the tribe of Reuben, of the tribe of Naphtali. We're waking up. We're not holding on no more, being spiritually dead. We're not doing that. Waking up. It's a problem now for these people. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry. They're making merry. Why? Because they're getting rich. It's a merry thing when you look into a T.D. Jakes mega church, and you see 20,000 black people there screaming Jesus and putting and throwing all of the blood and sweat into a basket, and you have a list number one tithe on a board. They're making merry. Why? Because the money coming in. When you go down, when you look down in Zimbabwe, they were, when the land, they were mining gold and taking the gold out and shipping it off and people them in Zimbabwe. Our people in Zimbabwe are suffering. They're making merry. The Bible says, they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets that tormented them that dwelt upon the earth, two prophets referring to Judah
and Israel. Let me say something on that real quick, because we're also going to break their stereotypes they've put on us, okay? And their spells. These warlocks that are over the Zionist movement, the Jesuits and others, they're warlocks, they're sorcerers. and they're able to put spells on you by words or having you believe some of their magic. They'll put words out there like minority. When the Bible tells us in the book of Obadiah that they're the smallest nation on earth. We're not the minority. When you add us up with Africa, Jamaica, and all the people, see, they divided us in groups so that we couldn't come together as one as the children of Israel and realize we are one nation. The Baliqua Taino Indians, the North American Indians, they're not minorities. The Dominicans, they're not minorities. The Levi, there's nothing, guess what? We are major. There's nothing minor about an Israelite. See, these are their word plays. But here it is. They can be over in Scandinavia, Russia. They can be any place they want, but they'll all be labeled one group. Being, even if they should say Jews, as an example. It doesn't matter if they're in Scandinavia, Russia, Africa. They're one community. But if I'm in America, I'm a black American. And if my brother come over from Jamaica, he's a minority group. Oh no, he's a Jamaican. You see that word play? There's nothing. The Bible tells us that Israel will be numbered as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. So you can try to number us and take a census. But guess what? You can try to destroy us, kill us, and guess what? You think we die, but guess what? We're somewhere multiplying right now. And they may have locked up R. Kelly, but his music is still playing. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, Israel is still multiplying. Okay? They're still multiplying, folks. And there's nothing minor about us. Okay? We're major. And if we weren't major, they wouldn't be in their little secret little consoles watching us. But what's the next phase in their plan? Now that they can't stop it. We're prophecy. You can't put this cat back in the bag. I mean, listen. You said it earlier, Gaja. The conscious community, even though they're anti-Bible and all that, dealing with all different ideologies, the meta-neta, and I can speak 90 different languages, and I'm New Wabic. They never had an impact on the numbers of the Christian church against the numbers of the population of the Christian church. Even when the Nation of Islam came on the scene and they became a force to be reckoned with within our communities as some type of more so military guard in the place of what once was the Black Panthers. Anti-Bible, anti-Christ, they didn't have no effect on the Christian population and those that were going to church. But look what happened. Israelites began to teach, and their numbers are dwindling. The people now are critically thinking, even if they don't believe all what we teach. We're going to drop something that will have them question something. and
Elder, you know something?
Yeah, go ahead.
What you just said there is a key testament as well, you know.
Yeah.
A key note that we are the people, because the only thing that you can really get us into is it has to be like a Messiah based teaching. You know, in Romans 11, Paul said, "My people have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge." So we have that zeal there. And that's why an antichrist setting can never ever take the majority of us. It can take some of us, but not the nation. And I think that's something within us that bear record to Christ, that bear record to the true and living power of Israel. That's what it is, I believe.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you this, and Elder Lawyer and us was talking about it, and that's a great point you just made, Gaja. I hear people saying Martin Luther King was this and Martin Luther King was that. Guess what? That's the sentiment the Zionists would like you to believe when it comes to Martin Luther King. I've been looking into Martin Luther King, and there's a reason they killed him. If he was what they're trying to portray through that dream, locking arms and all together, he would have survived. He would have lived.
Right.
It was his last speech and what he was really going into next that would expose them that got him killed. So, okay, and I'm starting to say what we can't do is to begin to allow these sorcerers to have us paint a negative narrative on brothers and sisters who have given their lives for us and could have repented, but they'll never show that side of them. They want us to look at our own as the enemy. Even when it comes to, we have to change our perspective on a lot of things, folks. Because we can look at Tyler Perry, Kanye West. We can look at them and say, well, listen, you don't know what they've done. You don't know what they've repented from. And even if they are doing those things, we have to be here for their transition as ministers.
Right.
They can repent just like everyone else. And we must be here through their transition. We got, just because the world discarded them, Christ didn't discard them. The Most High didn't discard them.
I've always taken this, and I'm not just saying it because you're on the line with me, but I've always observed how you have dealt with the elders that have gone before you. You with me? And, it's the same thing. The Marcus Garveys, the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X, who have gone before us and paved a certain way and died. I believe that what those brothers did was what the knowledge that they had at the time. They could have only done that. And the people them that would sit down now and criticize what the works of these men, what works are they doing? You get me? What works are you bringing to the table?
Exactly.
So I'm not looking, I take a stance and say, yo, listen, you know what? Malcolm did the best with what Malcolm had at the time.
Yeah.
Marcus did the best, what he had at the time. Mind you, Marcus had 11 million people with no internet. I mean, hey, he did something. You with me? And it goes on. Do I agree with everything that Martin Luther King did? Well, no, absolutely not. But he stood up and laid his life down for his people. And Christ says that there's no greater sacrifice than a man who's willing to die for his brother. So who am I? You understand me?
Yeah.
I hope and pray that if I give up the ghost, I leave before seeing the coming of the Messiah. I hope that people can look back and go, this is what he did. He labored, he did something. You with me? And not remembered. You get this? So, anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you. The whole thing is, go ahead, Elderly.
Yes, sir. On the point that you all are just mentioning, this is the power of the Most High. Many of us know the story of Antiochus Epiphanes and what he did to the Jews, all the evils, all the oppression, all the murder and bloodshed that he did against our people in the book of Maccabees. What many people don't realize is that towards the end of Antiochus' life, the Most High struck him in his pride with a disease so grievous that he could find no healers for it. And it's during that time that Antiochus started making inroads towards trying to repent. Let me read this real quick. This is Antiochus. It says, verse 9, so that the worms rose up, I'll get straight to it, out of the body of this wicked man, and whilst he lived in sorrow and pain, his flesh fell away, and the filthiness of his smell was noisome to all his army. And the man that thought a little afore he could reach heaven to the star, or he could reach to the stars of heaven, no man could endure to carry his intolerable stink. Here, therefore, being plagued, he began to leave off his great pride and to come to the knowledge of himself by the scourge of God, his pain increasing every moment. And when he himself could not abide his own smell, he said these words, it is meet to be subject unto God, and that a man that is mortal should not proudly think of himself as if he were God. This wicked person vowed also unto the Lord, who now no more would have mercy upon him, saying thus, that the holy city to which he was going in haste, to lay it even to the ground, and to make it a common burying place.
Talking about destroying Israel.
He would set at liberty. And as touching the Jews, whom he had judged not worthy so much as to be buried,
the Israelites,
but to be cast out with their children, to be devoured of the fowls and with wild beasts, he would make them all equals to the citizens of Athens. And the holy temple, which before he had spoiled, he would garnish with goodly gifts, and restore all the holy vessels, many more, and out of his own revenue defray the charges belonging to the sacrifice. Yea, and that also he would become a Jew himself, and go through all the world that was inhabited, and declare the power of God.
So before he died, he began to declare the power of the true God of Israel.
Exactly. And this is Antiochus. So if the Most High can do this with Antiochus, what is Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry? I'm just throwing out names. People that, a P. Diddy, a Jay-Z, a Beyonce. We look at these people as the epitome of evil. When a lot of these people, they're just the product, as we were mentioning before the show. They're the product of poverty, and having an opportunity to come up out of that poverty took what they thought was the best.
They took that route under sheer ignorance.
Exactly.
And see, but again, the controllers knew.
Exactly.
And they knew that how they would initiate it into this relationship would compromise them in the future when they've come of age to realize the depths of their actions.
Exactly.
So, you're gonna grow a conscience, Oprah. You're gonna grow a conscience. He'll let them know. Listen, we have the takes on all you've done. So some of these people are compromised and aren't willing to go through the shame. But some of them will. Some of them will repent. Or some of them will help in their own ways without you even knowing or understanding. I had no idea that out of nowhere a brothers that who was held captive in Mexico, a brother of a sister in our church, would get bailed out by Tyler Perry. Okay. The whole thing is this, folks. Hey, see how the Most High work that out? It's like they can do what they can, how they can.
Exactly.
And it's not up to us to judge and understand how the Most High is working on them or with them. And and I've been guilty in the past in making assessments, upset with how some of their art, craft, and work is affecting our people.
We all have.
But that's why the Most High command all men everywhere to repent. And as long as there's breath, they have opportunity. And who are we to get in the way or become a stumbling block for a stumbling block between the Most High and that opportunity? Wanted to put that out there, folks, because all of us going to need each other. And I don't think, guess what? The Bible says at the end of this, it's going to be so much peril, people are going to throw their gold in the streets. So don't think it's about money. We're going to need each other for survival.
Scripture says
the enemy is coming after everyone. When they lose this church, it's over. When they lose the Christian church, it's over. That's it. And they're losing the Christian church. And that's their metric to know that whether or not their control is still in place, or whether or not God has awakened Israel to the degree in which we no longer depend or need them anymore. And now we'll depend on our God, not the God they have delivered to us. This is what Edom, the Roman Empire, the Europeans, the Pope, this is what they've all feared. That the valley of the dry bones, like you mentioned, Gaja, earlier, rising. And in Ezekiel the 30th, 37th chapter. Let's get that. They're going to get some phone calls and wrap it up. Let's go. A Thanksgiving special for you. Ezekiel 37, when it says, when all the nations behold us, right? Let's go. Let's read it.
This is Ezekiel chapter 37.
When it goes down, great exceeding, right before that.
Verse number 9. Then he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith the Lord God, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live.
Let's breathe upon those slain that was dead in the street 3.5 days. Read.
Verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came into them.
And breath came into the children of God now. Read.
And they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army.
Hold up. A what?
An exceeding great army.
This is what they fear, folks. The Most High is building a great spiritual, righteous, exceeding army right up under their stinking nose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, gotcha.
1 second. I'm gonna mute my mic. I'm just getting some news right now that don't sound good. Let me come back to you in a minute. 1 second.
Okay. Hope everything is okay. Let me tell you, folks. I had this one so-called Christian pastor. Now, he so happened to be, he was a Gentile. He's a white guy. He sent me a message through YouTube and say, we're not under the law. The law is for murderers. It's for killers. It's for sinners. It's for this. He ran off all these things that
Excuse me, Elder Ricard.
Yeah.
Can I just excuse Elder Lawyer real quick, please, if you don't mind?
Yes. Elder Lawyer has to call you?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, call him real quick.
All right.
All right, y'all take care of that. I'm going to wrap up. Here it is. This pastor tells me, he's talking with me. Let me disconnect Gadja real quick. Hey, Gadja, would you like me to disconnect you from Skype?
No, Ella, you don't have to. I'm going to come back in a minute. Just give me, I'm a phone, Ella Lawyer on the phone real quick.
Okay, good. Real quick. This pastor, white pastor, he sends me a message that says, the law is for sinners. It's for murderers. It's for thieves. It's for this. It's for that, right? He sent me a message of why we're not under the law because it's for all these bad things, right? And I sent a message back say, yeah, the law is for sinners and killers and murderers and all that. And the email I sent back to him is, isn't that infestation of sin affecting black people or poor people disproportionately in our communities? If the law is for them, why are you saying the law is done away with if it's for murderers and killers and all that? Right? If the law is for them, shouldn't we teach it to them then? Because we're murdering, we're killers, we're committing adultery, we're sinning. He said the law is for sinners. I'm like, exactly. So what are you talking about? And then you know what? He sent the message back and says, I never even looked at it that way. I'm like, well, okay. The law is for sinners. Our people are sinning, get arrested, locked up, we're getting killed, families are being separated. Yeah, the law is for us. So why don't you teach it in your church then? If the law is for sinners, why don't you teach it to us then? He responded back with, yeah, you should have seen his response because he thought he was making sense, saying the law is for sinners, it's for murderers, it's for this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah, sounds like the area I grew up in. I grew up in North Philadelphia. And I believe the law is for us. We need it. So sometimes they teach stuff and don't even understand the context of it. Don't even understand what they're actually in agreements with it. They disagree. Why? They disagree because they don't like the effect it's having on their congregation or in their churches. Everything's all right?
I may have to break up.
Hold on, hold on. All right. Excuse me. Yeah, I got it. All right, lawyer, have to go take care of something. I'll answer a few calls and then we need to break down. Okay. Real quick. Bless you, brother. Be careful out there, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Love you, man.
Love you too.
All right, sir. All right.
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
All right. All right, we're going to answer a few calls and then we have to break down. 917 area code. Shalom.
Great broadcast tonight. I really have to say that I think that a lot of people are going to be at a where you probably answered some questions or concerns that they had about maybe going tomorrow or not going tomorrow to celebrate things. Sorry, not celebrate, but to just have dinner with their family. So we thank you for that because I know that since I've been in the truth, I haven't gone to family dinners and stuff like that, whether it be Christmas or Thanksgiving, because I felt kind of uneasy with doing that. But being that for me just getting married and me and my husband were in the truth, and we try to stay away from all of that stuff, you know, it's been kind of hard on my mom. And, you know, so she has to now find herself going to spend Thanksgiving because she still celebrates that with family. And then, you know, it's kind of hard for her seeing her baby girl go. So I was kind of thinking, well, should I, how, if I do it, how can I have it as a week to where I can be a light and that people can see that, you know, I'm still with the Most High, but, you know, it's still about family, and I can only really see you guys maybe once or twice a year, but how can we do it to where I can have you guys come to dinner for like Sister Param or something like that. So I definitely thank you for the words that you spoke earlier.
Okay, it's just edifying, sister. And a lot of us do things in ignorance, and we don't have to cut our family off. We can just use certain times and for opportunity to spread the gospel. Let them know, listen, I'm still here. I'm no different. You understand? And that, you know, I love you. I want to help you. But, you know, we can't cut our nose to spite our face. But thank you, sister. Bless you. All right.
Bless you.
601 area code. I mean, we went through a lot of stuff today, boy. A Thanksgiving special, ain't it? 601 area code. You're live.
Shalom.
Shalom, you're live with the Gathering of Christ Church.
Shalom, Gavin. How you doing? My name is Kimai. I'm from Mississippi. Okay. And I appreciate what you and all the elders do in the church. And I've been following y'all for a couple of years now, and I've been strong in this truth. And I know I feel real bad about not gathering with my family during these holidays, these pagan evil holidays, and this whole week I'm out of school now. And this whole week, I've been back and forth with my mind to see if I was going to see my family during the holidays or not. Even though I know the two holy days in Leviticus 23 are the actual holy days we should follow as a people, as the children of Israel.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Have you been listening throughout the whole broadcast, or have you just come in the last hour or so?
I've been listening throughout the whole broadcast.
Okay, because the broadcast really dealt with the whole scope of what you're dealing with, and it's the same thing I've gone through in transition and understanding I was Israel and all that growing up. So through this, and I understand the ups, downs, the trials with family. We've discussed this on numerous lessons. So I would just say, you know, call your mother, call your family, and let them know you love them. And in spite of the differences when it comes to holy days and all that, that your love is unchanging. Just remind your mother of that. Remind your family of that. And who knows, if they say come over, or you got to participate in the food ritual and the prayer and all that, it's not against the law to exercise some liberty as an occasion to save your family, because this is what the devil is going to use to say that you joined a cult, you're cultish, this, that, and the other. And this is how they're going to turn the family against you, and no one who will stand with you in that day, because they've already demonized Israelites. You understand? And now your family is in agreement with that demonization. So you got to walk with some level of wisdom in this, is all I'm saying. All right?
Yes, sir.
But don't participate in any paganism whatsoever.
You,
oh, all right? All right, shalom.
All right.
All right. One more call, 340 area code.
Hello?
Yeah, shalom.
Hello? Hi, shalom, brother. Hi.
I'm blessed by the Most High. Hi.
I'm thinking about... Hi.
Are you there? Are you with me? Okay, I'm going to come back to you, sister. Your phone is out of here right now. 501 area code. Shalom. Are you there? Okay, I guess there's no one there. And I just wanted to put this out there for brothers and sisters that we're coming into a time in which the truth can no longer be hid, and this is where we are. And the Pharisees and scribes came together. When you read in Matthew 11, they says, listen, you know, what will we do about this man? Speaking of Christ. Unless we deal with him, the Romans are going to come and take our place. I think it's John 11. Our place and our position, because these pastoral positions by Christians and others, as Christian pastors, are set up as modern day Sanhedrins that answer directly to Caesar. That's just the reality of it. Okay? That's just the reality of it. So it's time for us to stay prayed up, make sure we're mindful of our actions, don't fall into various temptations, and just stay strong through this battle. Why? We're going to need each other. And I'm going to say this. During this time is when the whole earth shuts down and everyone is reflecting on family or whatever the case is. You can still take some solace within yourself, even if you don't deal with all that, and deal with some of the silence or the space this gives you. Okay, because they shut everything down during this time. To actually think upon your purpose in this work. What you can do to contribute or to gather with the body to help finish and to help our brothers and sisters who may still be under the programming within pagan theology. Okay? I think here's her phone right here. One moment. I'm going to try to bring her in before I have to go, really. Hello? You there? Okay, I guess she's not there anymore. Let's see. Ah, that's what happened. Oh, there it is. Hello? I'm sorry, sister. Go on. I'm doing okay.
I was thinking about the surveys and that you were talking about, and those people who don't believe or their family that believe. But I was thinking about time and chance for every man, so like eventually they would come around. Because even like mom was talking to somebody that was her friend about, you know, the feast days, and she was completely against it like a year ago. And now she's starting to, okay, I know that Christmas Day again and stuff like that. She's like coming around. So I'm thinking that even those people on the survey that said that, oh, they didn't agree, that eventually they'll come, a lot of them will come around. And then also the survey is also telling, I don't think the survey it's telling us the real numbers. Like we might as well double the numbers that they're telling us. They're kind of hiding.
Probably.
You know, exactly how many people they know are actually waking up. And then also the surveys are kind of like, to me, an alert, like an alert of like, hey, the people that they're going to come against, that they're going to say, oh, are heretics against the Roman pagan doctrine, and the Jesuits are going to come after. You know, I think that the surveys are kind of like...
I know what to do. I know what's wrong. So, just 1 second. Stick with me, sister. I still have you. I know what's wrong. I still got you. Hold tight. Yeah, come on. Go ahead. I have you. Come on.
Did you hear me or no?
I did hear you. I just missed the last tail end of what you were saying.
Oh, the last tail end was on the surveys that you know, that they're like not telling the real numbers of what the surveys actually are saying, that many people, more than what they're saying, are actually waking up.
Yeah.
And also the surveys also might be like alerting us that, hey, there are people out there that are against the Roman tradition, and like the Jesuits said, in like when we were talking about, they'll come after anybody that they deem heretic. So they're getting ready to deem those people out there who are waking up as heretics, you know, in time soon.
Thank you, sister. Great point, right? Thank you. Great point.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry about that, but I have to go to the next call real quick. Christ says, Matthew 24. It says, and Yeshua said unto them, I'm in the 4th verse, take heed that no man deceive you. Speak of the Romans and all the nonsense they're dealing with, right? For many shall come in my name saying, I am Christ. Christians, Constantine Christians, Nicene Christians, not the Christians of the 1st century, but Satan's infiltration. Many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and that's what you're hearing now. See that ye be not troubled, for all things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. Here's the key point. After they demonize you, then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Now here's a question. Are Christians in reality hated for Christ's name's sake? Or are Israelites hated for Christ's name's sake? Really think about that. And then shall many be offended. That's why I say be careful how you walk with your family. And shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. So brothers and sisters, in this work, understand this is serious here. Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Okay? This is a marathon. The race is not to the swift. You need to make it. Okay? You need to endure unto the end to receive the end of your prize. And let's not have us operating out of the Spirit going forward. When it comes to interacting with Christians or interacting with an Israelite, interacting with our family, understand, okay? Understand the world we live in and the fact that we're walking and operating in the valley of the shadow of death. And you're one of the very few with your eyes wide open. You're one of the very few. That means forces are waiting to see exactly what individual can see. And they're going to start targeting people like Israelites who awaken people up and deem them enemies. And through it, soon we'll be fulfilling these particular prophecies here in Matthew 24. Okay? And brothers and sisters, prepare spiritually, get your vessels right, get your soul right, your heart right, your mind right. They're preparing another Thanksgiving. And you're going to understand at the end of this, like we've been telling you, we are really all we got. I'm speaking of those who believe in Christ. Okay? They're preparing another Thanksgiving. Okay? And we have to do some level of preparation. Okay? When it comes to setting up ministries and alternative living arrangements. Okay? And I can say that, you know, I'm going to just leave that there. Okay? But anyway, I apologize. I'm digressing into the night. Elder Lawyer just received some news, and, you know, that's having an effect on things right now. And I have to go support the brother, and there's a family scenario going on. Then I have to get off this so we can support the brother and find out what's going on. Certain scenario is happening, has happened. So I'm going to say I hope you all enjoyed the program, and thank you for gathering with us this evening. I mean, we stayed up constantly around 1300 this evening. I thank you for your support, and I'm sure you all will continue to support with or without YouTube. With that, I'm going to say shalom. A lot of good information have come out tonight, and I thank the Most High for the opportunity. I know I spend hours with you all when I can, but I try to spend as much time as I can knowing they're cutting off access soon. Okay, so just we all just appreciate this. Let's appreciate this time. It's precious. With that, I'm going to say shalom. I love you. Stay prayed up. One call. I'm sorry. He been waiting. I got to pick up the phone for him. All right. 501 area. 501 area code. Okay. Can't do it. Can't do it. I tried. Stay prayed up. Sin not. We will soon see Zion.